Right. Could you sync yours up, please? And we're back in the room. Shaun, good to see you.
Yeah, and you, pal, how's it going?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. Are you ready to rumble straight away? We've just sort of dialed the phone and hit record, and off we go.
Yeah, I did a quick test to make sure the audio worked, because I know you had a bit of a disaster with some other vids, so I've got enough batteries and whatnot. So if all goes plums up, I've got enough here, I think.
Mate, two of the biggest motovloggers in the country, TMF and Lamb Chops, both screwed their audio up, so I had to do it twice.
Well, no pressure. No, I did a quick test and there was audio on it, so we should be good.
Right. I'm checking. My levels seem to be moving about. The countdown is going in the GoPro. I think we are sorted.
I've just gone GoPro with the helmet set, with the mic adapter and the little lapel job, and it seems to be right. Otherwise, I've got me Zoom in case everything goes knockers up.
Cool. Yeah, I've got the old Zoom. Is that H4, H5? I think I've got there. Just because it's got like I think it's got four of the mic inputs. So if I do like if I go to a podcast where I've got a couple of people there, I can have.
Yeah, you've gone all up professional.
Mics.
You've definitely gone balls out.
All the gear, no idea. Anyway, mate, let's start as we mean to go on.
Yeah, let's get one out. Yeah, I'm probably going to go.
I need to get sponsored by Brewdog because I'm running short on these now.
I'm going with something from Bavaria.
Scheiße!
Yeah, I got a nice bottle.
What is it?
It lies well in the hand. This thing. It's a bit small.
It looks a bit phallic.
It's a massive cup. Oh, it's a little cup.
It's a cock. I wouldn't say that's little.
It's a wooden cup and balls.
Fair enough. Very German. Very German.
Cheers.
Slangs. Cheers. Is it Prost? Is that what you say in Germany?
Prost. Yeah.
Prost.
Prost.
Is that just cheers?
Yeah. Down the hatch.
Okay. We're going to have 2 hours of us just cheersing each other.
What
cheers,
is that? What is that you're smashing there? What beer is that?
Brewdog, man. Brewdog.
Oh, it's a bit of a
Scottish.
gay size, though, isn't it? That's a bit small.
You're saying gay like it's a negative thing.
I'm happy.
Can't say
it's
that.
a happy beer.
Such a happy beer with your pink shirt. I like it. It's all right. We're in touch.
As you mentioned earlier that we were going to start a bit earlier and that you'd gone for a barbecue, I've actually went round my friend's house for a couple of beers before we started, so I'm actually shit-faced already, so this could go a bit pear-shaped.
Well, it's VE Day, like the day that we beat you.
Why do you always say that? Like I'm one of them. Just because...
Mate, you chose to live over there.
Yeah.
It's the day where we beat you, where we celebrate beating you, and like we did or the English did at football.
Careful.
Yeah, we've gone out and sat 2 meters away, obviously, but we sat out in the street with some of our neighbours drinking since about, I think, 3 o'clock.
No, that's the way to do it.
And I forgot, I was too late to have dinner, so I've literally come straight from there.
Yeah.
So, I've had about 4 already. Woo-ha!
Magic.
Anyway, so how is everything treating you over there? I think, is it all starting to ease up in Germany?
Yes, well, as of last week, all the kids went back to school.
Wow.
Shops opened this week, and I think next week they're starting with sort of restaurants and boozers and whatnot. And so things are sort of freeing up. The only downside is that they've lessened or softened the rules, but you have to wear a mask if you go anywhere in public. So if you go shopping, you have to wear a face mask, which is a bit shy. But you can deal with that. But to be honest, we've always been allowed out. We just had, as I'm sure Andy mentioned in his video, we had a contact verbot, which just means you can't go out and socialise, but you could go out and do, if you're on your own or maximum of 2 people, you could go out as many times as a day as you wanted to.
All right.
So I've how long have been over? It's been going on 8-9 weeks now, something like that. And I have been out on the bike a handful of times, but I didn't vlog it or video it because I didn't want to. Yeah. Although it's allowed here, I didn't want to have to constantly explain as everybody does in their video. Before the video, this was filmed before the lockdown, which we know it's all bollocks. So you can just say I went out for a ride. So yeah, we've always been allowed out. So I have been allowed out. I've been out a few times, a handful of times, but I've greatly reduced it. So.
Wow, so I can't believe they've already, you're back at school and restaurants are back. Because they're saying, like, for us, they're talking months down the line. Although I think there's a big announcement here on Sunday to tell us what's going to happen. But all the, it could be bollocks, but all the stuff that comes on social media and WhatsApp, they're all talking about like staged returns. And by the time restaurants and things and schools, you're talking like July, August. So who knows what's going to happen
with everything here in Germany, they're so efficient, the Germans, and probably, I mean, maybe
Except
the first week when the outbreak started, it took a few days for everybody to sort of play the game, but after that, everybody's been doing what they should be doing. So in that respect, things have gone better than in other countries like the UK. Obviously, it took a long time before people started to play the game there. So. But
it's almost, I mean, obviously shops and stuff aren't opening, but like traffic-wise, I've been, every second week, Nikki has to go into work. So she'll work at home for a week, and then the second week she's got to go back into London. So I've been taking her in and out on the back of the bike. And for the first sort of 3-4 weeks or so, people were playing the game. You saw the odd people, especially at weekends and stuff. But this last week, I mean, the traffic, it's not as bad as it normally is, but it's not far off it. This on the outskirts of London. The centre of London's dead, but the outskirts, a mile or two out from the centre of London, like Old Kent Road's just rammed full. It's busy. Yeah. So
nightmare. But enough of the C word. You have to get a bid in just to see how everybody's coping with everything. But
well, this is it. Everything okay at your end though? Family's all good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it never really affected us anyway, because my missus is a paramedic, so she didn't, have to go into short-term work or lessen her hours or anything. And I was off for 6 weeks. I had a leg operation. I had some bloody varicose veins removed, then I had a couple of weeks holiday. And then I went back to work 4 or 5 weeks ago. So it didn't really affect us. The only main thing that has affected everybody is the socialising. But otherwise, money-wise, work-wise, it's not really affected us, so... all good.
Oh, that's good for you. Yeah, lucky there, mate. Nice one. Right, well, the normal format here is I post out on social media and say that Shaun is coming on the podcast, and it's down to you, good people, to pop up some questions, and that basically gives us a little bit of direction, a bit of flim-flam for the course of the chat. Now, normally we start with my Patreon. It's the only time I mention it. Patreon.com/Teapot1. However, I've had a total brain fart this last week. I've forgotten to post up videos early for people on my Patreon, and I forgot to post up on Patreon that you were coming. I did it on all my other social media, but I forgot for the clans folk. So I'm really, really sorry, folks, if you're in the clan and you didn't get the opportunity to post your questions. However, there has been a lot of questions posted on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Magic.
So, without further ado, let's crack on. So we're going to Facebook here.
Yeah.
Teapot 1. Gavin Fraser. This is for the both of you. If you were living in a very hot country and were living there, would you go down the local route and wear no safety gear, just a lid or lid and gloves, or would you go the whole lot, but as light and breathable as possible?
Yeah, I mean,
this is contentious.
Yeah, I mean, when last time I went to the Alps a couple of years ago, I did when after I'd stopped off in my hotel and got myself sorted, and I had to ride sort of down the road to go and get some dinner. I did just throw a jacket on with jeans and trainers with my helmet and gloves, but I don't think I'd go as far as a t-shirt and whatnot.
Pants, and vest.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking literally just down the road. If I was to go anywhere great length, then it would be full gear. But yeah, I mean, I draw the line at minimum jacket, gloves, and helmet. I've worn jeans before, but very not often. Handful, if that.
The thing is, now though, you get some awesome, like, just biking jeans or biking cargo pants. I bought the Bullet. Have you heard of them? Bullet. I think they're a British company. And they do the Covec jeans, but then they also do this Covec cargo pants. Yeah. So I have a pair of... Oh, I had a pair of them. They got cut off me the last time I crashed, actually. But yeah, I had a pair of those, and they were really good. I used to wear them all but the really torrential days, I would just wear them. And then I bought myself a pair of TCX, is it TC? Yeah, TCX sort of paddock boots. You know, so they're like basketball shoes, but they're bike ones. Yeah. So I had a pair of them, and I've got a lightweight Icon jacket that I wear. Yeah. And lightweight gloves. So, you know, I mean, I would go down the breathable route. Excuse me.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got some Kevlar jeans, but I don't tend to wear them as much because, I can't fit in them at the moment. As somebody pointed out, that I look like a fat Gary Barlow. Who was it that said that on? Was it Chops' video?
Someone did mention.
Or was it Andy's
video?
Someone
mentioned that. Yeah, someone did mention that. Yeah, I thought it was a bit harsh.
Chop looks like a Steptoe, and I look like a chunky Gary Barlow. That was it. Magic. It's myself.
But he's not taking it to heart, folks. Don't worry.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I definitely can't fit in my Kevlar jeans, so that's out the window.
Oh mate,
too much of this stuff.
Don't even go there. It's a good job I don't drink. I don't drink and I don't eat.
Oh, absolutely not.
Where were we going? Oh yeah, but with the kit, I made the mistake on. I think it was on the BMW K1600. I think it was the 1600 review. One of my reviews, anyway. I got into the habit of stopping at the end of the ride at the top of my road here, and I'd do the walk round, you know, like the old beauty shots. And I think it's a grand total of about 67. I counted. It's about 67 seconds from there to my house. Okay. So I did that last bit of ride where I finished the video with no gloves on. Because it was a hot day. I'd taken the gloves off to do that, and I just didn't bother to put my gloves on.
It happens.
You should see the abuse I got online for that. Oh my God! You're there. You should be setting an example.
I think if I was to set off anywhere from home or from wherever you're starting from, if you're out on a trip and you start in the morning, you obviously got all your gear on. But if you've been riding the entire day, you've got back to your hotel or back home. You've had a shower changed and you want to go out for dinner, then you're not going to throw it all back on. You know, I just chuck a pair of jeans on, jacket, gloves, and helmet. That's got to be the minimum. And then 5 minutes down the road and go and fill your face. I think that's okay. But I would never set off in a hot day from home on a ride without full gear.
I'm the same. But then it's a personal choice, isn't it? And
absolutely. I don't hold any. I don't grudge anyone that goes out in a t-shirt.
I don't.
If they want to do that, then that's
I look at them. I do look at them and think, dick, because that's going to hurt if you come off. But
I mean, you see it in America.
Totally understand
they ride in t-shirts and no helmets in some places where they don't have to wear an helmet. That's a bit much, but there you go. Yeah. Each to their own.
Right. So exactly. So Gav, each to their own, pal. Really.
Absolutely.
You got to accept the consequences.
If you want to lose some skin, then that's cool.
Oh. What is it half a millimetre or a millimetre of skin every metre of slide?
Oh, I don't. I've seen some pictures.
Whoa. Oh, man, I've dealt with a couple of bikers, and that's not massive speed because that's like in
it doesn't take a lot,
London, really. No, and oh mate, God, and the nurses aren't exactly sympathetic when you turn up there and they get the wire brush out to get the grit out your skin. Nice.
Oh, stop it now.
Right, David Vo. First question: how come a 70-year-old Brit can get himself into the army and ends up in Germany?
70 or 17?
17. What was your job, if not classified?
Okay, I was actually 16 when I joined the army.
Were you?
Yeah. And I did. I went to an army apprenticeships college. So basically, nowadays you can't be sent anywhere before your 18th birthday. Now, when I joined, that was different. You could be sent wherever as long as you'd finished your sort of minimum soldier training. So I went to an army apprenticeships college when I was 16. So basically, you go there for, I think it was 6 months. They train you to be a soldier, but then you can further your education. So it's like a college as well. So you're being trained to be a soldier, but you can also then learn or further your education. So I did. I was a SATCOM telecommunications specialist. So that's where I did that. Then before I think I was in a further year. So when I was about 17 and a half, when I was finished with everything. So I did all my soldier training. I learnt my trade as such, and then I got posted to Germany. Now, back then you could choose. You had like 3 choices where you'd want to get posted around the world. You could stay in UK. You could basically, there was a list of where postings were, and you could put 3 best choices, and hopefully you get one of them. And I put Germany and a couple of others. None of them were UK. I wanted to leave for some reason. I don't know why I even joined the army actually at 16, because I grew up in a fairly steady home. My dad was a copper until he retired, his lifelong profession. But I decided I needed to bugger off. So yeah, once I'd finished with it, I got posted to Germany. I think it was just before I was 18. And then I've been here since then, so just over 20 years. What did he ask? Wow. What profession did I do? I was a telecommunications specialist.
Telecoms.
Satcom and radio. So basically the guy that always dies first in the films. You know, you always the radio guy always gets it first, and then the whole squad's fucked. Yeah, I was that guy. Yeah, and
so where are you from originally then? Whereabouts in the UK are you from?
Nobody knows that. People have always asked, Shaun, I can't work out your accent. Could you tell where I was from? I don't know if I even told you.
To me, it sounds like a southwest, a Bristol, or down that neck of the woods.
Okay, yeah, I'm from Somerset.
Somerset, yeah.
Yeovil. I think that popped up with Al and Chris, and Al said Yeovil was an absolute shithole.
He did. Yeah.
That's where I'm from. But I never really had a really sort of the typical southern Somerset accent. But because I joined the military so young, and I left when I was 27, so I started at 16, left at 27, and all the military's full of people from all over the world, you know, from all corners of the UK, the Commonwealth. We've got Fijians, Cameroons. And because you're not just working with the guys, I lived with them. You know, we had like military dorms, you know, and for some, over the years, my accent sort of dwindled away. Not that I really had much of one. And I just picked up accents from everybody else that I was living with. So it kind of all got messed up. But yeah, you wouldn't ever guess probably that was from Yeovil.
It's the odd little word that you say. It registers with me, and I think, oh, that sounds like the West Country. You know? Sometimes I think you're from further up north, and then other times it's like, oh no, there's a West slang there.
It's completely messed up. And to be honest, I'm kind of lucky. I'm kind of thankful that I can even speak English, because I have it on my videos when I'm vlogging. Sometimes I've total sort of grammatic and vocabulary brain farts, because 90% of the time now, and I have done for the last maybe 10, 11 years, 90% of the language at home is German. I only speak English to my kids, and it's, you know, obviously some of them are. I've got a 4-year-old, an 8-year-old, 14-year-old, and a 16-year-old. So when I'm speaking to the younger kids, it's not particularly intellectual or anything. So a lot of the vocab, it goes. So bit of a nightmare.
It makes me laugh because obviously I've come over a couple of times to ride with you and Andy Man Cam and Gaz, Bulldog Gaz, and we've got a WhatsApp group as well. And it's funny because Gaz in particular, he really struggled. German's definitely his first language now, isn't it? And
Gaz has been here longer than I have.
Yeah. And he struggles when he's typing. He struggles a lot of the time, doesn't he? For the English,
it's grammatically backwards. German grammar is totally different. Yeah, the way the sentences are formed. So even when you speak English, sometimes it's grammatically completely wrong, but set up for sort of the German language. But yeah, we get on with it. But it's not completely died off. But sometimes I have to think about things before I bleat away.
Well, it's quite cool on your vlogs and stuff because you can chat away in English, but then switch and do it in German as well, and that is quite. Yeah. I'd love to be bilingual.
Yeah,
bilingual, but that's wrong.
I did a few language courses in the military before I left to set you up for life when you leave, but it didn't really help. Because German, it's the same when people learn English. If you go to school in English or German English isn't how people speak. So. I just got thrown in at the deep end and learned it sort of the hard way. So, it worked out. But, it can be difficult.
Cool.
Did we answer his question? I answered that, right? Didn't I?
Yeah, but it's a 2-part question from David. He said, secondly, have you changed profession? If so, what do you do now?
Oh, okay. I'm a PDR technician.
People get quite personal.
Do you know what that is?
Technician?
A PDR technician.
No, it's a technician of PDRs.
Paintless dent repair. So it's not like panel beating. Basically, I fix cars that have been damaged, like in hailstorms. It's all paintless, so the car gets completely stripped down to the bare metal, and you have to work out all the 1,000 dents all over it and whatnot.
Well, how'd you do that? You just beat them out?
Special? No, it's a without blowing or sucking my own bum. It's quite a highly skilled job. But yeah,
sucking my own bum. I've not heard that one before.
People will have to Google it. Look it up on YouTube. Hailstorm damage PDR.
What, sucking my own bum?
Yeah, you could probably Google that. There'd be videos of that for sure.
I wouldn't advise you to Google
I'm sure people can suck their own bum.
Wow.
I've seen it online. Next question.
Wow.
Quick.
Right, yeah. David also says, great channel, best of luck to you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Steve Meeson, to you both, if in the future the powers that be gave you an option, if you want to carry on riding a bike, you would have to lose the gentleman sausage or the plums, would you give up riding or say goodbye to the troops down below?
I'd probably go plums.
What, you'd keep them or get rid of them?
Get rid of if I could continue riding, I'd have to get rid of sausage or plums. Is that right?
But I think both. I think you'd have to lose your tackle, as in cock and balls.
The whole lot? Shit.
I think so. Oh no, hang on. No, lose the gentleman sausage or the plums. Would you give up riding or say goodbye to the troops? So which would it be? Would you give up riding?
No.
And if you didn't give up riding, which one would you give up?
I'd definitely go balls. Yeah, but you wouldn't want to just keep your balls. How's that going to help you out?
I think that would be a bit weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, plums off, and I get to keep my bike. That's fine. Is the lighting all right, Bruce? The sun's shining through the window here. Is it all right?
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay, mate. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll be able to sort that. You've got a GoPro, haven't you?
Yeah. Let me just put the blind down, maybe.
No problem. Generally, the GoPros can be... Yeah, the GoPro will be fine with that. I'll be able to tweak it if I need to.
Yeah, definitely. Plums off.
Mate.
Plums off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't want to just have a little scrotum sack there, would you?
No, that'd...
Mind you, my missus would probably say I'm not far from that anyway.
What would you do them? Just flick them all day?
I don't even want to think about this.
No.
Right, next one. Gavin Fraser. Sorry to bring it up since this sea is still going. Do you think it's right that some Oh, here we go. Oh. Do you think it's right that some bikers are ignoring the lockdown because though I'm hating it, I'm now thinking, fuck it, I'm going out. I didn't buy a bike to sit in the garage, but haven't given up yet. What are your thoughts? So... what do we think about the people who are ignoring lockdown and just going out on their bikes?
Well, yeah, for me, I mean, obviously it's a bit different for me because I've been allowed to go out. Whether you should or not, I mean, I greatly reduced my riding, but I didn't stop it altogether. Yes, there's the added thing of that if you have an accident, it puts an extra strain on the healthcare. Etc. But I think it depends on what country you're in. In this country, the healthcare is so efficient and so good. They have, although it's been a strain on them, it's not been particularly bad. I had a friend of mine who broke his collarbone last week, fell down his cellar stairs and broke his collarbone. He ended up in hospital. And he said to me, Sean, there's nobody here. There's nothing happening. I mean, they've set up sort of crisis centres here in Germany where if you do have the virus, then you go to just one place that it's not spread everywhere. But I don't know, mate. I mean, to be honest, UK was slightly different because so many people didn't really pay much attention when it first kicked off. But I think, if you go out for a ride and you do it sensible, and if you're on your own and not socialising, personally, I don't hold it against anybody if they do that. Again, it's a personal thing. It's up to the individual whether you do it or not. But I wouldn't say you're an idiot if you do it. So I don't know.
Over here, I think the vast majority of people, have stuck to the lockdown. But obviously, there are others who haven't. And with anything, that will make the news. So when you see all the news clips of people in the parks and there's loads of people all around the parks, that isn't the norm. But it is happening for sure, definitely. It is definitely happening. But the vast majority of people have been sensible about it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the bikes, I totally understand why people want to go out. I totally get it. I want to go out, but for two reasons. For two reasons I've not. One is, yes, because if you have an off, which can happen, you can be the safest rider in the world and you just need something to happen. And then it's that added strain on the health service. And the other thing was, I've actually been contacted by people when this all first came about and the lockdown thing happened here in the UK. I had like doctors and nurses and medical professionals that follow the channel contacting me saying, can you get that message out there for people to stay home, you know, amongst the biking community? So of course I've got to fly the flag, and I'm going to fly the flag. But we're 7 or 8 weeks down the line now, and you know, I'm kind of like, well, life's got to return to normal, surely. And part of me thinks, well, biking is very much a solitude pastime, apart from when you go to a calf and you mix with people. But the calves aren't open, so if you're just going out on a bike, as long as you're not riding like a cock, if you're just out for a ride, and you know, take it reasonably carefully, folks. Yeah. But I don't see what the issue is now, you know. But if you come off, then
that's a whole different kettle of fish.
Of course it is, because then not only are you an added burden on the emergency services, but then you're leaving yourself open because they're going to take you to a hospital where all the corona is. So
absolutely. I mean,
it's a double-edged sword.
Although we've been allowed out here, it's heavily policed. And I was out 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I saw it on the news the next day that 28 bikers had gone up to some sort of biker meet. The place was shut, but they used the car park then just to sort of stop off and socialise. Yeah. Coppers turned up, and the fine here is 250 euros if you're caught socialising. So there was 28 of them up there. All of them got fined. There was another place just down the road from here. 6 Harley bikers had stopped for a fag at the side of the road. Coppers turned up. All of them fined. So in that respect, it's that's kind of stupid. You know, if you want to go out for a ride, you know, a couple of mates at the max, and if you're gonna stop, find somewhere in the
petrol station.
Yeah, find somewhere in the middle of nowhere where you can stop and have a fag or have a 10-minute stop. You know, stopping at a biker meet is pretty stupid. Nah. So
we had a thing here. I think it was on the North Circular or South Circular, one of the main sort of circular roads in London. And a whole load, like I think we're talking into the hundreds. There were lots of bikers. They literally just shut the road down, and they were riding the wrong way. You know, they were like going the wrong way up the carriageway, doing stunts and all sorts. And you're like, nah. You dickheads. You dickheads.
No, they should
totally ruin the reputation of bikers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the main thing. There's too many dickheads that do stupid stuff that ruin it for everybody else. And
absolutely.
You know, biker community can have a bit of a bad rep as it is, and if you do shit like that, then I'm not down with that at all. But yeah.
And there's so many, like, do you have the blood bike service over in Germany? Do you have that? No. Where people volunteer
They have cars. They just they don't do bikes, but they have blood cars.
Yeah, they do them here. So obviously it's entirely voluntary service. Yeah, you get no money. I don't think they even get expenses. I think you even pay for your own fuel and everything. Well, that has sort of ballooned here, like the voluntary service for people that just want to do their thing, whether it's delivering blood, delivering services, delivering supplies, people even taking meals to, you know, the elderly and the vulnerable that can't leave their homes. And so many bikers have stepped forward and said, I'll do that. So you've got one side. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I kind of was wanting to do it, to be perfectly honest, but then this sounds weak, and in a way I suppose it is, but I also kind of thought, well, the vids and the content do something because they help take people's mind off of what's going on. So do I not put the time in to get the vids and the podcasts and everything out there, you know, doing 2 or 3 a week? Yeah. And do I not put that much content out there and do the voluntary stuff, or do I treat this as my thing? So that's what I've sort of done. It's a bit weak, but that's sort of how I've been, because there's loads of people out there doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it
charity funded, blood bites?
It is. Yeah, it's a charity. It's entirely a charity. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, magic. I think it's brilliant.
I've got some mates that do it, and it's incredible. I always just assumed that it was like government subsidised, but it's not. It's an entirely voluntary thing. Yeah, amazing.
That's a terrible thing that it should be like that. The government should be pumping money into that. Bastards.
Because it's almost an essential service now. You know, the blood banks and stuff. It's needed. Yeah. I think the NHS can't function without it. So
absolutely.
Anyway, never mind.
Right, I'm gonna have to get a new beer because I've wellied that one. You have to be careful with these because they knock your tits off. These from Bayern, they're a bit strong. So if you have 3 or 4 of them,
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, no, Bavarian. Sorry, Bavarian. So now I'm going to go with something from Bremen. You'll know this one.
Beck's.
It's lovely.
Yes.
It's a bit.
Bremen. We bombed that, I think, didn't we?
Did we bomb the shit out of Bremen? I don't know. Did we? Frankfurt got it pretty bad. Or no, Köln.
I don't know.
Cologne. They got the shit kicked out of them in Cologne.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Cheers.
I don't think my grandfather went. Slash.
Prost. You still on your first one? That's a bit.
It's about my 5th or 6th, so I'll need to go for a pee. Right, Dale Hawks.
Here you go.
What state is the lockdown in Germany is still hopefully coming out in June, even though MotoGP is officially off. So, is Germany open to tourists?
Will that work?
Sorry,
I don't think it will. I think borders are still closed.
That's what I was just about to say to you. Are the borders open in Germany, or are they still shut?
They're shut. Yeah, I mean, we've been allowed to go out and things have been eased off, but whether you can't travel within Europe as yet. So, well,
yeah, we can't, and we don't know when we're going to be allowed to.
That's looking grim. I mean, to be honest, yeah, I mean, I think we'll be looking pretty good. So I think maybe June, July. I think it may come to a point where you can travel within Europe. But I mean, I had my trip to UK booked for the end of June, and I've shit-canned that because even if it does work out and you can travel, I'd thought to myself, is it going to be worth it? What's the point of me spending all that money and time to come to UK, and you can't go anywhere, and everything's shut? It's just a waste of time. But I don't know. I think you might be pushing your luck there with coming to Germany for June. I think that might not work out, but I don't know. Things could change.
Think that as well. Yeah. Yeah, I just had. I was supposed to be going to the Picos at the end of this month, and obviously never thought it would happen. But we had the official message from Brittany Ferries. They basically said, and I think it's the 1st of June or 13th of June or something. They're not doing any sailings now until then. So,
yeah,
my next trip.
Yeah, go on.
The next Picos trip after this one at end of May is end of June, and I doubt that'll be on now.
No.
Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe probably not. I mean, I had a 3-day tour booked for the end of this month within Germany to the Eiffel, beautiful place, for 3 days. And I've just had a letter today that's been shit-canned as well. So yeah, I think if I'm lucky, towards the end of summer, I might be able to get out on a tour in and around Germany. But I think you're pushing it up if you're going to be travelling anywhere else.
But we had our little meet-up, didn't we? Was that mid-August or something?
I think that'll happen. I think that'll be all right.
You think?
Be honest, yeah. I mean,
I hope
as the country as it is now, as it's moving along, everything will be open by the end of this month, start of June. Everything will be probably open, hotels and everything. Wow. It's just whether you can get here. By that time, everything here, providing nothing goes tits up and the virus, kicks off again, everything will be fine by August, I would say. As I said, it's just whether you can get here or not.
Yeah, it's a thing, and it's if there's this second spike or whatever they call it. Yeah,
but I think we might be lucky for that, mate. To be honest, and to be honest, I hope it does work out because I'm properly looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know it should be a good giggle, wouldn't it? That last definitely. One we did was such a good laugh.
And maybe Andy can pack his guitar up and get down this year. He's not doing any weddings now anyway, so he can't mess it up this time.
Well, never say never. Never say never.
Yeah.
Right, so Dale, 2 chances, I think, with that, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen.
John Broadhurst. If a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it fall, does it make a sound?
What?
If a tree falls in the
I'm not quite
woods,
sure how to process that.
I think you need to spark something up, mate.
Do I need to nosh off another beer or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it fall, does it make a sound?
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, that. Does it, though? How do you know?
Why would it not make a sound? That's a fucked up question. That sorry. Who answered? Who asked that one?
John Broadhurst. I think John likes
Broadhurst
to smoke.
has been smoking some illegal
herbal stuff. He's been on a very special type of oregano in his cigarettes.
I would say yes. Of course, it makes a sound.
You're one of those people, aren't you? Logical,
It's one of those trick questions, isn't it? I'm not much of a thinker into them things.
You need to. Do you listen to Joe Rogan?
Who?
Joe Rogan. Who? Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we came across it. No.
You've not, do you know who Joe Rogan is?
No.
Oh my, where have you been? How old are you? 96.
In Germany for the last 20 years.
If you like podcasts, if you listen to podcasts, search for a bloke called Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan, Rogan. He's pretty much the biggest podcast out there. It's what sort of got me into it. And Joe Rogan he's a stand-up comedian, commentator on UFC, all that sort of stuff. But he's a very weird character because he's a muscly guy, bald head, into his fighting, loves to go. He's a bow hunter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, rugged, good look, chiseled. Yeah,
Fat Gary Barlow.
Gary Barlow. So he's like, you'd look at him and think he's like a redneck. Do you know what I mean? You'd think he's quite right wing in how he is, but he's not. He's a total. He's a hippie basically. He's very into like alternative thinking, and he loves his substances. He's right into his weed, and he's done all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So when you listen to his podcasts, he often goes down the line of like free thought, and you just find yourself questioning things like that. You find yourself, which normally I wouldn't question. Normally you'd just be like, of course it makes a sound, of course it does. Physics, it's there. It's going to make a noise. When you start listening to him and he starts putting reasoned arguments against what you would consider the norm, you're like, God, you got a point. What if? Who's to say that wouldn't happen? You start questioning everything.
I've never heard of the guy. I mean, I don't know. It is quite like China. I don't think China are allowed to do a lot of stuff. But I mean, to be honest with you, mate, I mean, I'd never, until you met up with Andy, the first time you went to Mersey with Andy, I'd never seen one of your videos. Not even.
Had you not?
Not even a suggestion on YouTube. And I'd watched all of, the trips around the world, long way round and all that sort of business. I was into the sort of the world trips. Not one suggested video came up with you until Andy posted his video that he was meeting up with you on Mooners, and I had a quick look and I was like, oh, how come I didn't go? And then I looked, I thought, who the hell's Teapotone? And then I looked on your video on your video list and I thought, shit, this guy's been everywhere. How have I not been informed or suggested on YouTube to watch his videos? But it's a weird thing.
Yeah, I don't really know how it all works, to be honest, because you do your tags and your titles and and I've even gone back and redone them to try and make sure I'm hitting all of them, because my views are nothing special really, and people keep saying to me, I just came across you. I'd never heard of you before. And you're like, oh, I've
not seen one vid. So how did you meet Andy? Or get in contact with Andy?
It was just through YouTube.
Okay, so he'd seen your vids or you'd seen his, or?
Yeah, I think he commented on you know, in the comments of your vids, how you start recognising the same names. People regularly start commenting, and Andy, I think, had been regularly commenting, and I think he'd been posting on Twitter and probably Facebook, because I wasn't really into Instagram too much then. And we just got chatting, and it was a bit of to and fro and stuff. And
sure.
I love to just jump on a bike and go somewhere. So I think I said, well, I'll come over and meet you in Germany. Let's meet up, and it went from there. Yeah.
I love that. That's one of the reasons why I do it. I've met so many cool people, and I was definitely. You know, when I first did my bike license, I didn't really know anybody else that rode, and I was just, you know, looking online all the time for rides out, and I just thought, I'll send this guy a message. Do you fancy meeting up? Can I come along? Sort of thing. I think it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Bless the biking community. To you,
I'm into that, brother. Yeah, the amount of people who come in and do like a meetup or a ride out, or sorry to mention it again, on my Patreon we do these clan meetups and stuff, and the amount of people that come along there and go, you know, in the evening we're in a hotel bar or something, and they're like, I had such a good day today. So this has just opened up a whole new part of biking, and I was like, oh, what do you mean? Have you never been to, like, say we've been to the Lake Districts or Wales or something? And they're like, no, I mean, like, I never ride with anybody. I've just said I've had my bike 10 years, and all they ever do is go to the calf.
Well, that's
back,
so sad.
You know? And
shit.
And you're like, seriously? Is that?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't know anyone else that rides. And you're like, oh my God, for me, the social side is everything. Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons for doing it. I mean, the perfect example was was it 2 years ago we met? Did our meet up?
Yeah, 2 years.
How many people came? There was like 22 riders or something that come and rode with us.
Yeah, it was mega, wasn't it? And my mate Ed came over from the UK.
Yeah, little Ed. How's he doing? Do you still keep in touch?
Yeah, definitely. He's on my team at work, where I've left now. But I worked with Ed every day. Yeah, he's a top bloke. He often speaks about it, actually, and I think he wants to come back over. I'll try and get him to come with me to Germany.
Yeah, get him on board.
He's bought the best bike in the world now. He's got an R1250 GS. So. Best bike in the world.
Having said that, I've ridden the GS a good 6 or 7 times. I've done some test rides on them. I've been on the adventure, the GS Adventure. It is a good bike. It's definitely not for me, but I get it. I get it. For me, it doesn't rev high enough. I bounce that thing off the limiter every gear change, because it just doesn't have enough. But yeah, definitely, it's a great bike.
I get the KTM. I do get the KTM. But I've got to admit, I did the Super Adventure and then the GT, and I actually, looking back, I'm not just saying this because you're chatting to me. I preferred the Super Adventure over the GT, because to me the Super Adventure felt more raw. It felt more of a brutal bike. The GT was like, it had some manners to it.
I don't think you revved it hard enough.
Right, okay. But I mean, 60 miles an hour is all you're allowed here. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't go over that. But I think I test rode the Super Adventure as well a couple of times, and I think I had it for 2-3 days, that bike, while mine was in the workshop. And it's mental. I mean, an adventure bike shouldn't be that fast. I mean, 160 brake the thing has. But for me, I just can't get on with the riding position on adventure bikes. I mean, I've ridden a lot. I've been on the Explorer from the Triumph. I've been on the GS. I've been on the Super Adventure. But adventure bikes just don't do it for me. Although, if I was to get one, it would be the KTM, because it's absolutely bonkers. But I just can't get on with the position. For me, it's just not. I just got no front end feel when I'm not sort of leant over slightly. If I'm just sat there perched on an armchair, I'm just sort of, I don't know. Yeah. I like the sporty position of the pegs. I like my feet to be sort of a bit higher up. And if you just sat on some sort of armchair, it's just not for me.
I really want a shot of this new Super Duke. The new Super Duke that's come out this year. Oh, have you had a sniff of it yet?
Yeah, well, I've seen some of the questions that are coming up, so I won't say anything yet because somebody's asked the question. I think of what I think of.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. So I think we'll move on to another question, and then maybe I can answer that later on. But yeah, it's definitely an absolute weapon.
I always try not to read any of the questions beforehand. So apologies if we've covered your question already in this chat.
We've deviated.
Right. Okay, so I think a long time ago in a galaxy far away, John Broadhurst asked about the tree falling in the woods, didn't he? So you said, of course it makes a sound, and I'm not really sure. I'm questioning the meaning of life.
You're diverse.
Lee Bridges. We all know the GS... There we go. We all know the GS is probably the best bike in the world. It's no probably about it, Lee. It's no probably about it. On paper... But at 18 grand before you put any extras on it, it's also very expensive. So my question would be, bang for buck, what would you say is the best bike in the world? I don't mean good cheap bikes. I literally mean the most bike for the least amount of money. Ooh.
Is that £18,000 with no extras on it for a GS?
No, it's not.
That can't be accurate.
The GS with no extras is like 15.5, 16.
I was going to say,
grand,
here they're about
like
16,500 euros standard with that on it.
Yeah, so like if you were to get my bike, the GS Rally, I think that at the moment, the way that stands is 18.5 grand, something like that. But then if you want to put panniers on it, that's another grand for panniers.
That's another grand,
Yeah. The sat nav, if they're not doing the deal, then that's another 700 quid.
They know how to do it. They know how to do it.
The basic bike. You know, if you want wheels, obviously that's extra. If you want an engine, that's extra.
Absolutely.
If you want a seat, that's extra. Yeah.
What's the question?
So yeah,
bang for
Lee's
your buck.
asking, bang for your buck. So not what's the best cheapest bike, but what is the best bike for your money out there?
No category. Adventure bike, sports bike. I don't know.
Anything. Best bike for your money.
Well, I know I'm being sort of biased, but I think for me a Sport Tourer is the way to go because you get, especially nowadays, the Sport Tourers are more sports orientated with the advantage you may be able to slap a couple of crap panniers on it or something, but it's more sports orientated, I would say. So for me, it'd have to be a Sports Tourer. And it would either be what I have now or the Multistrada, which I nearly bought.
That's a lot of money.
3 years ago. Yeah, that was a good 23,000 euros. So I would say, I mean, there was a lot of gear on that. Whether that's probably not bang for your buck, but yeah, I don't know. My bike. I got a fantastic deal on it, and it is fully loaded. So bang for buck, I would have said Super Duke GT.
I'd probably I could go down those lines because KTM normally are normally about the same sort of price, roughly in the same price bracket as the GSs, but KTM do much better deals. And fairly regularly. You know, they do amazing deals, especially towards the end of the year when they might be bringing out a new model quite soon. You can get $5,000 off a bike. It's nuts. You can pick up a brand new GT for like 11 grand, 11.5 grand. P&H were doing some stonking deals on them.
But that's what I did. So, it was a 2017 bike, but because they had so many in stock, I got $4,000 off it. So but that's kind of lucky. Whether that'll happen again, I don't know.
Yeah, Lee, if you can get one of those deals for the likes of a KTM GT, Super Duke GT, or I would go for the Super Adventure. But
no, don't do it.
If you could get one of the deals, then that is a hell of a lot of bike for a good price. I've never ridden it, but the new or even last year's V-Strom, Suzuki V-Strom, the big one.
Oh no!
It doesn't do anything for me at the look of it. Yeah, looks don't do anything for me, but you're getting a lot of bike for not much money at all, and people I know who have them love them. So
But the build
there's a lot of bike there.
It looks cheap, in my opinion. It doesn't look.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it doesn't do anything
it depends
for
on
me.
your budget, doesn't it? Absolutely.
I totally agree with what you're saying about adventure bikes, though, because you can do anything on on the GT. You could even do a bit off road on that, like basic off road. But you can do it. You can take it on the track. You can do motorway miles. You can commute. You can hoon it round the back roads. You could just do everything on them.
Yeah.
You can go 2 up. You can strap luggage to it. Do what you like.
It's not as comfortable. I mean, I had the S1000XR before this, also a sports tourer, but it was a much bigger bike. That was slightly more tourer orientated with the mental power, and it was a much bigger. It's a more of a sort of upright position, more GS sort of orientated. But I don't know. I think after a while, I had the XR for 3 years. And it was so good, but because it was so refined and so smooth, the quick shifter was absolutely butter smooth. The motor, the engine, it kind of got boring, if you know what I mean. And I jumped on the GT totally. just to do a video on it, just to do a test ride. I was no intention of buying it, and as soon as within the first 20 minutes, I was like, this thing is mental. And because it's not as smooth, the quick shift is not as smooth, and it growls at you and it shakes, and I just thought this thing is for me. And I'd never had a V twin. This is my first V twin, and I don't think I wouldn't rush to go back and get an inline 4 again. I know the new XR is out, and I'm going to test ride that. For me, it'd take a lot for me to get away from KTM or from Ducati. I think I'd buy a Ducati as well for the V twin or a V4. I think it's the best. They're the best sounding and most character I've ever seen in a bike. To be honest, so.
Yeah, I used to love, like on my Gixxers, inline 4s. I loved the inline 4, like the really revvy. You just thrash the nuts off it, and I loved that. But then I rode like the Triumph, the Triple, and then I rode the Boxer engine on the GS, and it's just got so much more soul. It's literally got character, hasn't it? That engine, and I was the same as you. I test rode that XR. Couple of years ago, and I really wanted to love it, because in my head I was like, it's the inline 4 engine, which I loved, take me back to my Gixxer sports bike days, but it's got the comfort of an adventure bike.
It sounds great. It sounds great.
Yeah, but it just left me cold. I was just like, I've got nothing off of that bike.
Okay. I loved it, and I only got rid of it because I'd rode the GT. Otherwise I would have kept it. And I did have an issue with it after 4,000 Ks. The blooming cams dropped their arse, and I had to have new cams and rockers. So the whole engine
4,000 kilometres.
Yeah, they had. There was an issue with all of them, the XR, the R, and the RR, the double R, with a hardening issue on the material on the cams.
Yes, that's right.
So the engine had to come out, and I took it to the dealership 3 times and said, this thing is fucked, there's something wrong with this, and they were like, no, they sound like that's normal, and they got a test bike out and started it. I was like, yeah, this one sounds the same. I was like, please, the 3rd time I said, get your best technician and get him to ride that down the road, and he rode it and come back, he said, yeah, something wrong with that. And eventually after, I did get sorted out, and they looked after me, which is a good thing. I think it's all part of ownership. If things go wrong, it can go wrong with any manufacturer. I think as long as you get good service, then it's cool. But
totally agree.
But after it got fixed, it ruined the bike for me, because I was always listening to it, and I thought, this thing sounds fucked all the time. And I thought I was revving it out, and I was thinking, oh, it's gonna drop its ass in a minute on the road, and it had to go. And obviously, if I hadn't rode the GT, I'd have probably kept it. But as soon as I jumped on the GT, I was like, I'm having this.
That's it. Yeah. So Lee, I think we go down. I think we're pretty much singing from the same song sheet, really, aren't we? Like,
I definitely go sports tourer.
Yeah, I think you're right with the KTM, definitely.
Yeah.
Suzuki, but it doesn't tickle your danglies. KTM.
Suzuki's definitely not cool KTM in the sports touring. In the sports bike, definitely cool, but sports touring, I'd rather eat my own arse. Did I say that? Right,
was it suck your own arse? You said before.
Suck my own bum.
Steve Mason. Oh, what are you up to?
I'm going to go with the Henson Hell, or the Hasen Hell.
Are you
another
on beer
one?
number 3?
Yeah, I'm a bit of an alcoholic.
Are you just pouring it on the floor out of camera shot?
No, I've wellied it down my gullet.
My God.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
this is a bit. Oh, this is 5.5%. This is going to kick me right in the swingers.
Night, Sean.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right, Steve Mason. To us
Go for it,
both.
Steve.
If you were sent to meet aliens on another planet and had to take a bike and a woman to show off with you, who and what would you take? And yes, you can shag the lady on the journey. Right. So if you have to take a bike...
That's a fantastic question. I like shit
It's
like
awesome. Good on you, Steve.
So what is it? Bike and bird?
Bike and bird, lady girl, lady person.
Yeah.
If you, or man, depends what you're up to, or in between. Whatever
Absolutely.
you fancy. You have to take someone...
a chick with a willy.
And a... yeah, chicks with whatever. If you've got to take a bike and a person to another planet to show off to the aliens, to show this is what we've got back on Earth.
Shall I go, or are you going first?
No, you go, because I need to think about this.
I'd probably take the new what is it called? The new Ducati V4 naked bike.
Street Fighter. Oh
yeah,
God,
because that
Mate,
is cool as shit. That has got to be the coolest looking bike. Well,
I am going to put this out there. I would not need the lady girl with me because I will have sex with that bike.
Yeah,
oh
I'd
my
probably
God,
shag
it's
the bike.
stunning.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that is the...
Fuck it in the face. Yeah,
that's
so
a thriller.
The Ducati V4 Street Fighter would be the bike. Woman.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember her name. Have you seen the film Knocked Up?
Yeah,
what's
the
that
blonde lady.
What's the blondie in there? Should we Google it?
I'll Google it for you.
I've got it on here now. I'm Googling. Knocked Up. Who's quickest? Oh, I'm pissed I can't type. Knocked.
Cast. Where's the cast? Where's the cast? I've got it, but I can't find the cast. Cast. There we go.
Here's she. Catherine, what's her name? Fucking hell. No. Alison Scott? Is it Alison Scott?
Doesn't ring a bell. Knocked Up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Starring Catherine Hegel.
Yeah, there you go.
Catherine Hegel.
All day long, mate. All day long.
Okay, yeah.
So there you go. Street Fighter V4 with Catherine fucking Big Tits.
I like... Now, he's probably going to come and find me and shoot me.
No, that's rough.
What's her name? Black Rifle. She's on Instagram and I can't remember her name.
Okay. Are you going for bird first? Did you say your bike? What bike did you say? You didn't say bike.
The bike's got to be the Ducati Street Fighter all day.
Okay, yeah.
Long.
You're with me on that one.
God, yeah. All right, let me find.
That is the coolest looking bike, naked bike. It's out there.
Have you seen it in the flesh? Have you seen it at like the shows?
No, well, there's I've got a good Ducati dealership 15 minutes down the road. So I'm as soon as this shit finishes, I'm going to get on the new Multistrada and on the Street Fighter. I need to get some vids done on that.
Oh, I've taken out the 1260 Multistrada. Oh my God, that is awesome.
But I've been on the old one. I've been on the 1200, and that I nearly bought it. But I only didn't buy it because the dickhead at the dealership offered me $3,000 less in trade-in for my 1050 Triumph, and I was like, "Sorry, mate," and he wouldn't budge at all. So I was like, and I'd already ridden the XR, and I was like, "Sorry, pal, I'm off to BMW. I'm going to get the XR if you're not going to budge." So
yeah,
whatever.
The 1260 is awesome fun, but it's the fueling at low speed, so anything below 20 mile an hour, nightmare.
Okay.
Even in first gear.
Even with
different modes.
They've got the variable valve timing, right?
Yeah. Even if you put it in, I think it's the urban mode, so it's like just mode. If you put it in that mode, even that, it's like you can get away riding in town, but it's just gutless.
Okay.
But when you get out onto the open road, if you watch my video, Sean, if you watch the video, you can hear, like normally touring touring. Thanks. Touring mode is like the touring mode's like the GS. Touring mode feels like a GS.
Okay.
But a bit throatier. You kick it into sport mode, and the whole tone of the engine changes, and it's just becomes this. It's just. It's obsessed. It's possessed. That thing. When you put it in sport, oh my god, it's so much fun.
I love
the
the
front
older
just
bike.
wants to come up.
If he'd have offered me, I said to him, "Give me $1,000 more for my bike, and I'll sign now. I'll buy it now." And he wouldn't budge €1. I was like, "Sorry, pal."
Yeah. Well, I've heard from people when I did that vid, and I made some voices about liking it and possibly thinking about one later on. Some multi-strada owners got in touch and they said, it's awesome. They haven't had any reliability issues, but the servicing is expensive as hell. So it was like...
I asked about that, and I said, what's the inspection, what's the servicing cost? He's like, you're small in service, it'd be about €700, and the large service, 1,200. I was like, oh shit. Sorry about that. I'm not going to be into that.
No, not at all. I am trying to find the name of this lady.
It's not happening, is it?
If you go into Black Rifle Coffee, is it Matt Best? One of the Black Rifle Coffee dudes. His wife.
Coffee.
Folks, I don't know if there's been an issue there. If
Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how far back anything went wrong, if it did go wrong, but your GoPro seemed to
have to do this again, don't we?
And my GoPro, I think, hung. I'm not entirely sure. So, to take a bike to another planet to show off to aliens, we both agree Ducati Street Fighter V4.
Definitely, it's got to be.
I wouldn't be that fussed about taking a lady with me because I'm happy with that bike. But you would take Catherine Hegel from Knocked Up.
Yeah.
And I would.
And I'd knock her up as well.
Yeah. And I would like to take the guy from, not the guy, but
the
guy's wife. Why not?
I'd like to take that guy.
The guy, Black Rifle Coffee. There's a guy in there. I think it's Matt. I think it's Matt Best. His wife, stunning.
I can't find anything.
Beautiful.
His wife. Okay.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Roger.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
All right.
Right, so Steve, that's the answer to that question.
I think you'd have to take a munter, though, to be honest. If you're taking a stunning looking bike, you can't take a hot bird. You'd have to take some trollop with you.
No, thanks. Listen, if I'm going to another planet, then we're living in a land of make-believe, so I'm going to take a nice chick with me, definitely. Not that my wife's not bad. God, right, I didn't say that in the slightest. But I would like to take Mrs. Black Rifle Coffee with me.
Absolutely.
Pete English.
Roger that.
Now, Pete comes out.
Oh God!
He comes out with some.
I've listened to all of his comments. Absolute gems.
Okay, here we go. Pete English. Can you think of something that everyone could agree on, despite the chaotic world we live in? Wow. Chocolate and sex will not be accepted for obvious reasons. Wow, something that we could all agree on.
Well, I don't do well with these thinking questions.
I love these. Something questions.
We could all agree on.
Well, the Ducati V4 Street Fighter is the most beautiful bike on the planet.
Yeah, we could agree on that. And that the guy's Black Rifle Coffee's wife is
amateurs.
3.5 hours there.
This is what happens when you're working with amateurs. Hang on, do it again. Thank you.
You know.
Is it overheating? Because mine's overheated before.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got a backup sat here in case it.
Yeah, mine's overheated because I've got my studio light there, and because I'm not out. When you're out on the bike, it doesn't matter. Hello, Mrs. Teapot. Thank you very much. Thank you, dear. She brought me another beer. Thanks, babe.
Look at that.
I'm nowhere near finished this one.
He's lagging behind. He's only on his second beer. Get it down your grid.
7th. Right, so yeah, is that what we're going to agree on then? Ducati V4 Street Fighter.
Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. We're agreeing on that.
It's
a beautiful machine.
It's not quite the deep and meaningful answer I think Pete was angling for, but
no,
I'm a bit too pissed to think about that. We'll be here for hours.
Yeah, absolutely off me tits.
Pete, top man, keep those questions coming.
I can't think of stuff like that.
Right, Rod Muffwood for Shaun. I'm being offered a 0 kilometre new 17 model 1290 GT at close to 40% discount from the tag price. He's pondering about going for that and saving some dollars over the 2019 and 20 model. In your experience, is the new generation GT worth it over the older generation? So if you could get a 17 model GT for 40% discount over a new one, would you? What's the difference?
That's exactly what I did. I mean, mine's a 17 bike, and I had the same discount because they had so many left over. Now I am looking. That's probably going to go at the end of this year, my bike, and I'm going to get something else. I would say yes, because when you think about if you're getting a 40% reduction, I think it ended up being like $4,000 less. It was like 18,300 euros, and I got it for 14,300. And when you think about what actually the extras you're getting on the newer bikes, so you were getting a TFT screen, and a few minor changes. I think there was a down blipper on the new one. Mine's just got the quick shifter, no down blipper. So when you think about it, you're not the extras that you get in aren't worth the discount. Having said that, though, I'm a bit of a tart, and I like all the Gucci stuff. Now, I've had my bike now for just over 2 years, and I normally change 2 or 3 years, and I'm done, and I got to get a new one. So I think at the end of this year, mine is going to go, and I will probably get the new one. But now there's a new one coming out for 2021. They do. It's getting the engine from the new R. And it's been completely overhauled. So new motor, everything out of the R is going into the GT. But I've heard it's going to be expensive, the new one. So I think when that's further down the pipeline, I think even the newer ones now, the 19s and the 20s, I think there's going to be some deals on them. So I'm probably looking to bin mine at the end of this year and maybe get a 2020 GT or the R. I've not shut that out. I could jump on the R. Although for me it's completely probably the wrong bike because I do a lot of touring and I need some luggage on it. But I just think the new R is cool as shit. So I've not closed that off, that particular avenue of pleasure. So I think I'm going to be test riding the new. I haven't been on the new 2020 bike because my dealership doesn't have one. But he does have the new R, so I'm going to ride both, and then I'm a dick. I always do something stupid. I'll be sat on the R next year, not being able to strap anything to it. It's going to be completely impractical.
But you'll look cool
my telephone will be hanging off the handlebars like I have it now, but it's all tucked behind the screen. It all looks tidy, but on the R, it's going to look like a bag of shit. But I'm sure it's going to happen. I'll be sat on the R next year looking like an absolute idiot. But
so you'll be in the R, I'll turn up on the V4 Street Fighter. Job done.
Absolutely, with our chicks on the back.
What need a chick?
The hot birds. Yeah. So to answer, what was his name? The question.
Rod Mahfood.
Yeah, Rod. Mahfood. I would. Obviously, depends on your budget, but I would say it's a good thing to do because the extras that you get on the newer bikes doesn't weigh out the cost. You're paying a lot more money for the newer bikes and you're only getting a few changes. So depends on your budget. If money's no option, then get the newer one. If you're on a budget, then snap up that deal.
Or if you can hang on towards the end of the year, you might pick up some deals on the 1920 models because the 21s coming out.
Which is what I'm going to look to do. And if not, I'll just get the R.
Do you buy your bikes outright or do you get them on the tick? Do you get them on finance?
I do like part. I pay off a big chunk of it and get the rest of it on tick. Which is pretty stupid. I always lose money on it, but I don't.
I always get them on tick.
Yeah, because bikes are getting so expensive. The top spec bikes it just keeps going up every year, and I'm thinking just to keep my monthly payment sort of at a reasonable amount. I just stick a few grand on the bike and then finance the rest of it. But
I mean, I think my BMW. Well, it's no think it is. My BMW cost me £320 a month for the GS, but then I only put.
God.
Yeah, I know, but then I only put £1,000 down. I think it was only a grand. I think I put down on that bike. So, literally, I put £1,000 down and I walk out with 18 bike, 18.5 grand bike. I can't afford 18.5 grand, but I can afford that amount a month because that's all I pay for. So it's a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here they have quite a good option. So I pay €140 a month for my GT. But I have
my Jigsaws used to be about that.
I then financed that over, I don't know how many years I financed it, 5 years or something, but 4 years. After the 4 years, I've still got, say, a £4,000 payment, which you then either pay off, keep the bike, or you just chuck that £4,000 into your next bike. So it lowers your monthly payment. But everybody works out how whatever budget they've got. There's things that you can do. But I think I bought one bike. I bought my Tiger 1050. I paid cash for it, but that was a stupid thing to do. I just bought the bike. And you just lose money that way. I think it's just better to change your bike every few years and finance the fucker.
That's the way I look at it. YOLO. You only live once, don't you?
Absolutely.
Right. Andy Tofts, question for Shaun. You've had the KTM.
Oh, no, Andy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've not heard from Andy in a while.
It's a familiar name. He's always commenting on my vids.
Oh, he's gone to you then. Cool. Is that where you've been, Andy? Oh, yeah, cheating on me.
I don't know what he looks like.
You've had the KTM a while now, so do you think it's better than the S1000 XR you had before, or is it just different?
I touched on it earlier. It's a completely different animal. I loved the XR. It was a brilliant bike, although I had some issues with it. But as I said to you before, it's because it's BMW and it's so good. I felt, and so refined. It was absolutely mental. It had masses of power. It sounded great when you'd have to rev it out, but it sounded awesome. But after just under 3 years of ownership, I kind of got bored because it was too good. It was a bit character lacking, if you like.
Right.
So whether it's a better bike or not, I don't know. I mean, in terms of spec, they're pretty similar with what the bells and whistles you get on them, but the KTM just has it for me. That the engine is amazing, and I kind of like a bike that's a bit harder to handle. The XR was a lot easier to ride, and when I first got the KTM, in sport mode, you do have to be careful with it because you do have to get used to it because it is an absolute weapon. But I kind of like a bike that's harder to deal with. I don't know, it makes you feel more alive. I don't know if that sounds a bit wanky, but...
No, I totally get you there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the GS lacks. The GS lacks that, although the 1250 has a little bit, it hints towards it, to that hooligan side, but it's nowhere near a KTM or a Ducati. No. You notice jumping on the KTM or the Ducati, that is a proper animal. When you wring its neck, is an animal down there, and you've got to be on your ball to keep hold of it.
KTM has exploded here in Germany. They've sales-wise, I think all over the world or Europe, KTM has been doing pretty well. And KTM it's a really cool brand. If you ride a KTM, it's not for everybody. The looks are kind of not for every taste, but it's a fucking cool brand, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same everywhere. I mean, obviously, being in Germany, BMWs everywhere, whether it's a GS or an XR or. I mean, I think the R9Ts and the sort of other bikes that they do. The R1250R I borrowed. That was a really nice bike. I like that.
That's a beautiful bike.
Absolutely, and I would have that. It's just they're everywhere, and although KTM has grown a lot in the last few years, I think it's definitely a cooler brand. You're going to get some hot chicks with KTM. You're not going to get it with a GF.
I think the BMW is the better package. I truly do think it's a better, and I do think it's the best bike in the world in terms of for everything that you get for it. The whole thing for me. But as far as like a motorbike goes, and the feeling that a motorbike should give you, the KTMs and Ducatis win that, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The emotion goes with them.
V-twins or V4s has got to be. I don't think I'd go anywhere near an inline 4 for a good long time.
Right, I'm going to move you slightly.
Oh God.
Right, Noel Best.
Oh, is that her?
That's
yeah.
her. That's the future ex-Mrs. Smart. Yeah.
Good bangers on her. God damn.
What arms?
Are they real?
Yes.
Are they real?
Oh God, no, I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't want to cast aspersions on the good Mrs. Best.
Okay.
But, yeah.
She'd be high maintenance though. Look at her high maintenance, that one, I'd say.
Well, we're living in a land of make believe anyway, mate. So never mind. I don't need to deal
if it all
with that.
goes plums up, then you can take some alien off. What was it? There was an alien world. You could take an alien if you don't want to come.
That's it. Okay, so we answered that, didn't we? With Andy,
yeah.
KTM over the XR. Okay,
Definitely.
Nick Mitten. This one's for both of us. If money was no object, what bike? Oh, we've already covered that. What bike would you truly want and buy? Well, if money was no object.
Well, Ducati's the Ferrari of bikes, isn't it? So it'd have to be something from Ducati, because I've had a BMW, I've had a KTM. It'd have to be the Multistrada or the Street Fighter for me.
Yeah,
probably the Street Fighter. Yeah.
Ooh, money is no object. I really like
the Pikes Peaks Multistrada. Absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that an amazing looking bike?
Yep.
All carbon in white and red. Absolutely fantastic.
Do you know what? I think
if money was no object, I'd probably have that.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Looks the nuts. You don't need to worry about servicing it. Yeah, money no object.
It comes with everything on it, carbon. It's all got an acro or whatever pipes they put on them in Ducati.
And when it goes wrong, you just buy another one because you're minted. So, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Sort that out.
Pikes Peak Multistrada. Bosch.
Absolutely.
Although, there was that... What was that? I'm going to bring this dirty word up. The electric. Is it the Archon? They brought it out last year at one of the shows. It was 80 odd grand, this bike, but I think it was electric. I'm sure it was electric, but everything, like the helmet, the jacket, everything, it was like a haptics helmet and haptics jacket. So if a car came up behind you or to the side of you, it vibrated, and you were totally connected with this bike. But the bike itself, the aesthetics of it was stunning. I'm sure it was Archon. Let me have a quick look and see if it's... I'm sure it was the Archon.
I mean, here we don't... Electric bikes here, I've never seen anything. I mean, I've seen all the... Obviously, you guys have been on a lot of bikes. You yourself, John, Lamb Chops, and Andy's been on them, TMF. But here, I don't know. I don't even know if there's any dealerships here where you can get on an electric bike. I've not seen anything here.
Is it not?
No. No idea. And the bikes, I've absolutely no clue about electric bikes. I've only ever seen, obviously, the bikes that you guys have been buggering about on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
They're starting to get quite big over here. Electric. It's the Arc Vector. That was the name of it. The Arc Vector.
That's 80 grand.
£80,000, yeah. And I'm looking, I've just Googled it to have a look, and it's not actually that good looking at all. So cancel that. I'll go with you.
Ugly.
Yeah, Pikes Peak Multistrada.
There you go.
It's not how I remember it.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex Walker. Oh, Teapot 1, how do I listen to your 44 Teeth podcast?
He's saying that on what? He's saying that on the 6th podcast, or?
This one. Which one? This one.
This one now.
This one will be the 8th. This will be the 8th. Yeah.
He's asking that question after the 8th podcast.
I know. It shows how many. That shows how many Alex Walkers listen to, doesn't it, Alex?
Oh dear, Alex! Sort your life out, sunshine.
You just go onto the likes of Spotify, iTunes, anything like that, or Apple Podcast. You go into any of the main podcast apps. Google's even got one, and you just Google Brew Time or Teapot 1, and it will come up. And then you subscribe or follow Bosch. It's all free. Enjoy. Don't
I
forget
listen
to leave
them
a
all in my
5-star
car
rating.
most of the time.
I've got right into podcasts now. They're so good because you can just pick up and go.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love it.
I've been loving them. I mean, to be honest, when I'm sat at home, I don't have the time to do sort of 2 hours, 2.5 hours. When kids are fighting around and you've got stuff to do. But when I'm out at work and I've got a longer drive, then I stick a podcast on, even if it's just for an hour, and I listen to the second part of it on the way back or something. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's exactly what
you're
I do.
You're a winner, Bruce.
Well, I just enjoy it because it's just. I love doing the vids.
It's magic.
I love doing the vids, but this is just. There's no. As long as you get the setup right, so we get the audio and the camera sorted at your end and sorted at my
we've
end.
Got some audio.
I know, yeah. As long as that's fine, there's very little editing because it's the very nature of it is long form, so it's warts and all.
Yeah.
If you swear, the swearing's in it. If you cock up, the cock up's in it. It's just. I mean, I can bleep that out, but I don't like to do any of that.
I've not said one swear word.
But it's just normal conversation, isn't it? And I really enjoy that because the YouTube vids, it's you've got to trim the YouTube vid down to its absolute bare bones, haven't you? Because people just haven't got an attention span for, you can put a 40-minute vid up,
and
but they're not going to watch it.
You're seeing me and you and all the other people how
you
we are.
Yeah.
There's nothing, because sometimes you stand in front of a camera, you've got a product to review or a bike to review. You keep the swearing to a minimum. You've got to show some level of respect and professionalism.
There's a time and a place.
We can let our tackle hang out and just go shit your pants mad.
Woohoo! Yeah, definitely. That's what I like about it. Is it's just a natural conversation, isn't it? And I can't wait to get back to the stage where I can come over to Germany and we can go for a blat on the bikes, and then. In the evening, I'll bring the mics with us and we can just chuck a couple of cameras up with the mics and we can sit there and get Larry talking shit and having a giggle and we can do another podcast.
And that's what people want to see. That's what people want to see. Honestly, I pissed myself watching TMF review his fucking lawnmower.
Oh man!
And Chops was, I think it was Chops was the same day or one day later. He was at it as well. Yeah, and I thought that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
We're all in a WhatsApp group, me, TMF, Chops, and Richie Vida, and as soon as Andy chucked out that video, we were like, "You've laid the gauntlet there. We're all going to have to do this." So, Chops, I'm trying to edit my Pyrenees series at the moment. So, I'm sort of editing the 44 Teeth podcast, auditing the Pyrenees vids, and I thought yesterday I was just like, all right, I haven't got time. I haven't got the time to go out and do the lawnmower thing. And the next time I looked, Chops has done one. And you're like, Jesus, you did that quick?
I thought there must be some sort of internal joke going. Both of them had smashed out a vid within 24 hours.
No, it was literally Chops saw TMF did it and went, right, I'm gonna do one. And I meant to do mine today, but I was going to go full Hollywood on mine. Absolutely.
Are you petrol or electric?
Petrol.
Because I've got a fucking petrol as well, so I'm thinking of getting out there and doing a bit of electric petrol versus electric lawnmower.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to do it. Get in on it.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And I think from TMF, I think that's absolutely fantastic because he seems a great guy. I've never met the bloke, but he seems awesome. And I think watching your podcast with him, it'd be fantastic if he just loosened up slightly and had a bit of a giggle. What a top guy. What a top guy. I pissed myself laughing from start to finish on his lawnmower review.
He genuinely is. Put my teeth back in. He genuinely is one of the nicest and funniest people I know. And I bet. I'm so happy that he's starting to let his real character come out, because so many people have this misconception about him that he's just this boring, like, accountant type dude. Not that accountants are boring, but you know what I mean? He's a riot. He is the life and soul of the party when you get together, especially when there's beer involved. And it's really nice to see that character is starting to come out.
Absolutely, I think he should do more of that. But I kind of get. I mean, he's obviously a much bigger channel, and he's got some sponsors on board.
Of course.
He has to be a bit more diplomatic than like to me. I'm peanuts in the size thing. No Willy jokes involved. But I would love it if he just chilled out a bit more. It'd be fantastic. And that lawnmower thing was absolutely golden.
Yeah, definitely. I think you'll see a bit more of that. I think now.
Yeah, he should.
Right, Mark Abo Abbots. If you could take a photo of yourself, what would the theme be, and where would you be at?
Oh God, I'm not into these sorts of questions, you know.
Are you not? I thought you would be.
If you could take a photo of yourself, what was it?
What would the theme be, and where would you be?
Yeah. Well, it's obviously got to be biking orientated. I'd have to be, I don't know, in the Alps somewhere at the top of a mountain with a selfie.
I would like a photo of me, and where would I be? I think
on an alien planet with the bird from Black Rifles Coffee.
With Noel. Oh yeah. I think I would go Putin. I would like to be sitting
Putin?
astride. Yeah, I would like to be sitting astride a grizzly bear, riding rampaging across through the Canadian mountains.
Oh, you've gone all
out of
creative. Shit, mine was boring.
Yours was shit.
Mine was shit. I'm out of beers. Oh, that one's gone and all. These are half litres, Bruce. Yeah.
Jeez, I've not finished my second can of beer yet in this podcast, and you're on like your fourth, fifth bottle of bloody.
I'm gonna wash it down. I'm gonna wash that one down with a Bex because they're a bit lighter.
You've had like 3 litres of booze.
Yeah, well, I'm a guy.
You're German. You're German. It's what Germans do.
I'm a veteran. I'm a professional drinker.
Okay, Kev Gilgore. Out on the bikes with a few lads, what is your ideal biker brunch?
Well,
it's got to be some sort of borscht.
Yeah, it'd have to be bratwurst and chips. Currywurst and chips with mayonnaise on the chips.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Ooh,
but if I was in UK, I'd be wanting a full English or something. Oh, I miss the full English. The breakfast cereal, absolute shit.
Are they?
Oh, I crave like the full English fish and chips. Here it's disastrous. The bacon here is dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all continental and it's no good. It's no good.
I don't get that about you foreigners at the breakfast table. Why is
Stop
there
saying
like...
you? I'm not German.
You foreigners? Why do they have like...
Although I do have a German passport.
Have you? Do you know what... Actually, do you know what today is?
VE Day.
It is. What's VE Day?
I changed my profile picture and everything on Facebook.
Have you? Oh, sorry, I didn't look. I do apologise. Yeah. Why on the continent for breakfast? Because this isn't right. Have they got like meats and pastries and all this sort of stuff for breakfast?
Oh, it's shit, isn't it? It's shit.
Why is that? I don't understand that. You should have proper bacon, eggs, fried slice, mushrooms. That's what you should have. Beans.
You can't get it. You can get bacon and scrambled egg, but the bacon is it's like the streaky bacon, so it shrivels up to like a gnat's willy. It's terrible. And you get a bit of scrambled egg, but no fried eggs. Even the egg's weird. Yeah, they put all kinds of shit in it, but you get that with maybe a bread roll, with some hams and cheeses. But yeah, the highlight for me for the German breakfast is the scrambled egg and the shit house bacon, but it's crap.
Okay, so ultimate biker brunch for you is a full English. Is that what you're saying?
If I was in UK, if I was here, then I'd have to say currywurst and chips with mayo on the chips.
I think mine would just be a simple bacon and egg roll.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'd have.
I miss that bad. I miss it so bad.
The trouble with the beard though is it's just you can't eat that stuff and have any semblance of a normal human being. It goes everywhere, doesn't it? You bite into the egg and it explodes in your face. So you now look like you've been...
It's probably not going to be too long before I look like you. Me and a mate of mine, we're both turning 40 next year, and we both said no no shaving until we're 40.
How
So
often do you
it's
shave
gonna
that? Your lady
now
beard. How often do you shave your lady beard?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, this is about 7 weeks.
Yeah, but you must trim it. Do you trim that?
I always trim a bush.
You've got a well manicured chin bush.
I mean, the neck gets shaved, and then I tidy it up a bit, trim the tash that it's not like I'm not eating my mustache.
Shaun, I know you'll find this really hard to believe, but this has no maintenance at all.
It's flourishing. Do you not hairspray it and then trim it into a shape?
Hairspray it. Wow.
Yeah,
Shaun,
so it's rigid.
Why would I have hairspray?
And then in your beard.
No.
I mean, it stands pretty well. It looks pretty stiff. Sounds really gay.
It does. That does sound particularly homosexual. But
Yeah,
whatever.
but you must have to. Is there no maintenance involved at all?
What I do with it is about. People are going to think I'm minging now. About once a week, every day when I'm in the shower, every day in the shower.
Spunk in it. That's pretty minging.
I put spunk in it. Yeah, every day in the shower, I comb it through when it's wet, and then I put some beard spunk, some beard oil in it. And about once a week, I use beard shampoo and give it a good clean. Yeah. But it doesn't get trimmed.
Maintenance.
It doesn't get trimmed. It's like maybe once, possibly twice a year, I'll go to the barbers and get them to trim it a wee bit. Yeah, just the way it is. But it is getting annoying because it's at the stage where I can't eat anything without getting a mouthful of hair now.
Oh, nobody wants that.
It's like entertaining a lady in the 90s. It's just not good.
That's definitely 80s and 90s you're talking there. Does it not annoy you when you're riding because it sticks out on the bottom of your helmet? Does it not get full of flies and shit?
No, that doesn't bother me. But when you got your helmet on and it's like this, the hair, especially when I'm talking, the hair goes into your mouth. So I end up chewing the ends and sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I get that now. I always ride with a balaclava on and squeeze my head in melon into my helmet, and it kind of. Yeah. I don't know. It sticks you a bit. Oh God. Yeah, but it's happening. I'm not shaving until I'm 40 next year.
Right, go 40. I remember being 40. Sheesh.
How old are you, Bruce?
43.
Oh, there you go. Not far off.
I know. I look about 93, but I'm 43.
You look way fucking older than I do.
I've had a.
Although we've both got no hair. We've both got no hair on.
Right, next one we got here, Philip Shard. Question for Bruce. What do you think is the perfect amount of time and mileage to cover in a day, and what 3 things do you always want to carry on a trip, excluding cameras?
Great question.
Oh, that's to both of us. Right. Okay. What do you think is the perfect amount of time and mileage to cover in a day? Well, for me, personally, I've done the big mileage thing, and I don't really. I'll do it if I have to now. You know, if I have to put a big mile day in, I'll do that. But I enjoy like twisty roads now. I much prefer doing the back country twisty roads, the mountains, the valleys, all that sort of stuff. So for me, a sort of 150 to 200 mile day on those type of roads is a big day, and that so you can still, you can be, when I go away on my tours, I'm generally on the bike by sort of 10, so you're not rushed in the morning. You can have a good night the night before. You're on the bikes by 10. You can stop for a coffee. You can stop for an hour or two for lunch. You can enjoy the roads, and then you're generally at the hotel by about 6 o'clock, 5:30 the following night. So you've got a nice day in the saddle. You can socialise during the day, and in the evening you can enjoy yourself. For me, that's a perfect day out on a bike for me now.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it depends on where you were riding. I mean, if you're in the Alps, I think your maximum, I mean, I'm talking Ks, 300 Ks is your maximum, and you are bollocks at the end of the day.
Absolutely,
Ks. But, I mean, 2 years ago, I did a European tour where I did Austria, Italy, France, and Switzerland on my Todd. But I was setting up in the mornings at like 7 o'clock. riding till I don't know 6 or 7 in the evening. But I was baggage at the end of the day. And if you're doing, I think if you're setting yourself the goals or your distance is too far, you don't enjoy it. So I would say, yeah, for me, same sort of distance, a maximum of 300 Ks. If you're doing really technical sort of mountain passes, you're going to be baggage at the end of it. And I've done days where I've done like 900 Ks in a day, and that was awful. I mean, the last 2 hours, I'm sat on the back seat on my cargo bag or something because my ass is just hanging in tatters, and it's just no fun. You have more enjoyment even if you take it down to 200. Like you say, you get up in the morning, you ride, you get to see stuff, and you enjoy the ride, and then you're back in a sensible hour to get showered, shit and shaved, and then have your dinner, and then a few beers down your face,
and then get shit-faced. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think if you set your days too long, then it's just it's gonna go pear-shaped.
And I think, like you said, it depends what you want from it. You know, I used to enjoy. I wasn't fussed about. I didn't go away on a biking trip before to have fun in the evenings and you know socialise during the day. For me, a bike trip before was exactly that. I wanted to be on the bike, so I would be I'd be on the bike 7, 8 in the morning like you, and then I would be smashing out 400 or 500 miles. You get to the hotel at like 9, 10 o'clock at night, but you're absolutely hanging. You know, a week of that, and you are in tatters. And like you said, you've seen nothing. You know, you just by the time you get to the hotel, a lot of places are shut. There's nothing to see. So it's just like,
I mean, if you're not getting an evening meal or something, then that's you're already on a downer. But I think it depends, you know, where you are, and I mean, tours that I've done with friends, then we've reduced the daily travel. I think if you're on your own, you have your good and your bad days. Where someday you'd be like, I'm fucking Fredders with this now. I wanna pull in. I wanna get into the hotel and have my dinner. And some days you're like, I've done 300 Ks, but do you know what? I'm going to do another 200 because I don't know, for some reason you're comfortable. Everything's the bloody moon's aligned with the earth, and you're ready to go, and you can go on longer. So it depends. If you're traveling with friends, it's a bit more difficult. But I mean, I'd never done a tour to that sort of magnitude on my own before, and I was a bit dubious about doing it. But I thought this is going to be fucking boring. But I rode so much more when I was on my own, and it's a bit easier, obviously, vlogging and filming, and it's easier to do when you're on your own. Absolutely. And you can make better videos. If you're riding with people that aren't interested in that sort of stuff, it becomes, as you know, it becomes more difficult to do. But I think it depends where you go and who you're with. But you know, definitely. Everybody's different. But I think definitely you could say from 250 to 300 a day is pretty acceptable.
Yeah, definitely. And the second part of Philip's question was, what 3 things do you always want to carry on a trip, excluding the cameras?
Waterproofs.
Okay. That's something I generally forget. Yep.
Yeah, definitely waterproofs. I'm not really into spare stuff, spare gloves, spare boots. People carry that. I mean, I always when I tour, I wear Gore-Tex boots. Yeah, people take spare fucking boots. Yeah. I've been on tours with people, 2 pairs of boots with them. So I take appropriate footwear. So I take my Gore-Tex City Adventures cracking boot.
Nice plug.
When I tour. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely have a summer glove and a Gore-Tex glove for when it's warm and when it pisses down. Yeah. I mean, they take up no space. Some tools, definitely tools. In case you have to adjust your chain. Obviously, chain. You don't bother with that shit. Chain.
What's chain? I've heard of these things. Chains.
Yeah. And a punch. I would say so. I would say
best bike in the world. Best bike in the world. You don't need that.
What a chain adjuster?
Yeah, don't need it for the best bike in the world.
Oh God, feel ill. Yeah, so I would definitely go waterproofs, puncture repair kit, and some sort of tools.
Weak. Actually, no, I agree with the puncture repair kit. Absolutely. I've always got a puncture repair kit.
Definitely.
For me, I forget waterproofs. And it's ridiculous because you should have them with you, because I nearly die when it gets bloody freezing and I'm soaking wet. But I always forget waterproofs. I always have a puncture repair kit. I've always got a first aid kit, either in my rucksack or in my back box. What else would I have? My phone, probably. It's the 3 things I'd have. Phone, puncture repair kit, and first aid kit. Bosh.
If you're travelling with good mates, then maybe an alcohol breath test.
What you want one of them for?
For the morning after.
It's personal responsibility.
You just pissed.
You don't.
Ooh, no way.
German.
Oh, I'm dying for a piss.
Do you need a pee break?
Must be all the beer I've been knocking back.
It's about the 9 litres of booze you've drank. Right, do you want to go for a pee?
I'll go now.
Right,
Back
you go. You go now. I'll talk to people. Go.
Okay. Don't say anything bad about me.
I won't. He's a raving alcoholic, that boy. Folks, let me know what you're thinking about the podcast. I've had really, really good feedback on it, and thank you so much to everybody that's been dropping messages and things. I really enjoy doing these, not just because it gives me a chance to have a beer, but I'm really enjoying it. I've got some plans for future guests. Next week we have Nathan Millward. He's the chap that rode a postie bike from Australia all the way back to the UK, and then he later took it all around the States as well. Nathan has just turned his best-selling book into a children's book as well. So that's going to be launching soon. So he's coming on to have a little chat about his travels, what he's been up to since before, obviously a bit of spiel about his book as well. Who else do I have? I have username Kate coming on. She's a female Instagram biker, influencer type. Oh, he's back. So she's coming on, and I've also, at the moment, I've got Aaron Mitchell. Now, he's done a round-the-world trip. Very interesting guy, Aaron. He's ex-military, ex-bomb disposal. He's actually back in the military now. But
what a guy.
Yeah, he's a really, really solid, lovely fella, Aaron. So he's going to be coming on to have a chat as well. So we've got some really good guests lined up, and I've got a couple of potentially really big guests, which I can't talk too much about because they may or may not happen. So I don't want to set my sights as yet.
Oh, we need to go off means where you can reveal all of that.
I'll let you in once we're off air. But I'm loving it, really loving it. So I hope you are too, folks. Right, Shaun, are you empty?
Definitely, but now I've broken the seal. You know what that means? After every beer, you need a slash after that.
I know.
So it's all downhill.
Okay, so I think we have done the Facebook questions. So we'll now move over to Instagram, which is Teapot1 Insta. You're on Instagram as well, Shaun, aren't you?
Absolutely.
What's your Instagram, Shaun?
The Likeable Rider.
There we go. It. Yes.
There you go.
I like it when people just keep it short and simple. Now, Teapot1.
I hate my channel name.
Yeah, what? I mean, I'm surprised that's not come up yet.
It does come up, so I'm not saying anything about it.
Oh, it does it? You've looked. That's not fair.
I've done my research.
Well, I tried to get Teapot1 on Instagram, and it was taken. I was like, who the hell's got Teapot1? I found out later.
Oh, really?
Once I had Teapot1 Insta, and I'd started using that, I found out that I actually own Teapot1. But I've forgotten what...
Oh.
I've forgotten what my blooming...
Oh, really?
I've forgotten what all my login stuff was, and by that point I'd sort of established Teapot1 Insta.
You already had it.
What a twat. Anyway, never mind.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, on Instagram, Flids4Bicky. What regiment? Just so you can take the piss. What regiment were you in the military?
I was in the Royal Signals.
Right, okay. Signals. Right. He's probably going to have a
Scaly back. So all the militaries all the other military vets and serving or ex, they'll be yammering for that.
yeah. You're going to get pelters on Instagram now. Official Absolutely. Mr. Fish, John's good lad. Have you met? Have you met?
No, I'm done. I was hoping to meet him this year when I was coming over to UK, but that's all been shit can too.
Well, if you don't get over here, I'll see if he'd come over with me, and we'll come over and do the Germany thing, because he was saying
bring John, bring Little Ed, bring Richie Vida. I want to meet Richie and all. Bring the lot, bring the whole gang.
It would be awesome to do. Just
how cool would that be?
Wouldn't it? Just to have a big old meet-up over there.
Absolutely.
You never know, mate.
Fantastic.
When we get free again, people may well have the appetite to do it. We'll see. Official Mr. Fish, what's the most likeable thing in biking? Oh, it's another deep one.
Oh, that's a good one as well. There's so many things that you could say. The one likeable thing.
It's community for me. That sense of community, some sense of camaraderie. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. It's a kind of that's kind of what I liked about the military. It's the sort of, as you say, the community, the gang of. Although it's obviously not predominantly male. Obviously, there's a lot of female riders, which I think is fantastic. Yeah. I don't want to sound shitty. I don't want to copy your answer, but I would say But I kind of like the what do you call it in English? I've lost a word. When you're on your own.
Solitude. There you go.
Yep.
I was away to say that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's so many things about it, but I kind of like both things. I like to ride on my own, but I love to ride with people, and I love to meet new people.
Yep.
Without it sounding too wacky, but I like to be on my Todd as well. So to get to know myself. Yeah. I think to answer the question, I think we've covered both sides probably. You like to be. It's definitely a fantastic thing. There's so many people that the potential to meet new people and to ride with new people, and I like that as well. I've always been the same. As I said, when I started up biking, I didn't know anybody that rode, and I was online, researching where you could ride and people to meet up with, and I really like that. And obviously, you're the same, and you come over to meet a few of us that you come out with on rides with, and I did the same when I did a European tour on my I was planning it on my own, but I pushed it out on social media. If anybody wants to come, I'm going for 2 weeks down to the Alps, and people came, and it was people I'd never met, and they're from the UK. They came over from the UK. They rode to my house, and we overnighted before we even started. They all came to my house. We got lagered up. And from my gaff, we rode all through Germany, down through the Black Forest. We did 2 weeks in the Alps. John and Glenn, if you're watching, I'm still mates with them now. This was some years ago. Absolutely fantastic. And I love that. And that people would do that, it astounds me that people would think, although, they were followers of mine and they watched my videos and they thought, he wants some people to come. I'm going to jump on board and I'm going to come over. And I think that's fantastic that people even consider riding to other countries with people that they don't even know. I think it's fantastic. So probably to back that up, I would say the community is probably the best thing.
100%. Yeah, I think it's because I would like to think again. You've got a problem, man. You've got an issue.
Let me just get that over here. Okay. Whoopsie. Lined up with the knob opener.
What am I going to say? Not much I can say about that. I kind of. That's what I loved about overland travel. Was the openness that people showed me from all around the planet, no matter what social class they were from, what country, what religion, what background, what colour, what language they spoke. It meant nothing. It was just a case of they were just open, friendly, and just being human to people. They were just wherever you went. Most people are nice. There's a very, very, very tiny minority that are arseholes, but the vast majority of people out there are brand new. And I think biking gives, particularly in the West, it gives us an opportunity to open ourselves up a little bit to people, because I think maybe in the West we've become quite guarded, haven't we? Because of the media, because of all the doom and gloom and the nastiness that you see around you all the time, reported in the people getting robbed, people getting mugged, and don't do this, don't do that. But most people are brilliant. And you should be able to be open and friendly with people without fear of reprisal. Definitely. But you're scared about doing that because of all the doom and gloom that you see. And there are arseholes out there, definitely. But I think biking gives people that opportunity to sort of, because you've got a common bond with somebody, like, those people that came away with you, never met you before, but they see you and go, well, he's a biker, I'm a biker. We've got something in common here. Yeah, we could. Yeah. So they take that gamble, don't they? And I love that about biking. And
fantastic.
And like you though, I get people say, when you go into Scotland, I'll come with you. I'd love to come. I'll come and do that bit. But sometimes I want to be by myself. Sometimes I want
definitely
a trip for me, because I want to get somewhere, meet people, and do a bit of the trip with them, and have some fun and mingle with them and all that.
Yeah.
But then I also want my time, and not just my time on a bike amongst people, but my time by myself on a bike, and just no one else around about me.
I need that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're the extreme of that. We're traveling around the world, obviously on your own. Sure, you meet people. But you're predominantly for months on end on your Jack and Jones, which I get. It's cool, but I kind of like both sides of the coin.
Absolutely, and that's what I missed when I came back. I really missed that social side, which sounds really weird, because I was back home and I was back with my biking mates and we'd go out on a bike. But I missed that interaction with effectively strangers, with new people, and I missed all that, and YouTube's filled that void for me, and it's part of the reason I do all this.
It's brilliant.
Okay, so we've both decided that we're just a bunch of hippies, and free love, man. Free love. Lord Fall 61, when's the YouTube out with the 44 teeth clowns? So I'm assuming you mean the podcast, the video version of the podcast. That comes out on Monday. I get asked loads about this. The podcast comes out on a Wednesday, so podcast platforms out Wednesday, and then the video version of that podcast comes out on the YouTube channel the following Monday. Wednesday for podcast, following Monday for the video version. Bosh.
Magic.
Andy Toddy, what's the most likeable thing about motorcycling in Germany?
Got to be the roads.
The motorway back to the UK.
The lack of hedges in Germany.
You do have some stonking roads over there.
Oh, fantastic! And the surface is generally good. They keep on top of their sort of road maintenance, but the fact that you can see for miles and round bends, you can see what's coming, means you can ride that bit more spirited, if you like. Everybody likes to get a bit of a lick on, but if you can see what's coming, you can ride, that bit more spirited. So I think
it's all about vision. It's all about vision.
Yeah, it's got to be the roads. I mean, from videos I've seen and watching your videos and everybody else that I watch, obviously you can't see a lot on the UK roads, and they seem to be very narrow, pretty shagged in some places.
Surface is terrible, mate, over here.
Yeah, so to really, you can't really ride that bit more spirited in the UK, even if you wanted to. In some places I'm sure you can, but yeah, Germany in general, the roads are fantastic, and to be honest, anything south of Hanover, I'm sort of mid to north Germany where I live, but within 2 hours I'm in the good shit. So anything north of or south of Hanover, the whole country is fantastic. There's so many places that you can ride, and the roads are, as I said, in general are fantastic. And a lot of my sort of touring vids that I've put out, you can see that, and you can see for miles. It's absolutely fantastic. You can have a really good time with it. Also, I've never been to a place where that's better. I mean, obviously the Alps I've been to 6 or 7 times, but Germany as a country in general is absolutely brilliant for riding a bike, and I'm so glad I sort of stayed.
You need to come with me. I'll take you to the Picos. Come do Picos.
And I mean, I want to do it. I wanted to go down to Spain, but for me, it's such a shit ride to get there. I need 2 days to get to Spain if I ride, and it's a shit ride.
No, it's not. That's some of the best biking roads in the world.
Yeah, when you're there. For me, from where I live, to ride down through the south of France, shit.
No, it's not.
And then
from where you are, come across into France, down to Grenoble, right?
Yeah.
And then even to get to Grenoble, you could do a bit of Switzerland to get there. Then from Grenoble, do the Route Napoleon all the way down to Cannes, and then
if you go out of your way to Grenoble,
and then
from where I am now,
from Grasse, it's on one of my vids, can't remember the name of the road. There is a stonking road pretty much almost all the way across the bottom of France. It's so much fun. Then pop up into the Gorge de Tarn, cross the Millau Viaduct, and then you're into the French Pyrenees, Spanish Pyrenees, and then it's a shit bit across to the Picos. Mint.
Absolutely. I mean, but that's kind of it's an out of the way trip to get there. Sure. I mean,
2 hard days. 2 hard days on the bike.
Yeah, so I need 4 days just to get there and back. So that's 4 days gone where I think I can be in the Alps.
Is excuses.
Yeah, if I lived in the UK, jump on the ferry to Santander and bosh.
I'd rather ride it. Honestly, I'd much rather ride it. But none of my mates will ride it.
Yeah.
So, they want the ferry. So we always get the ferry.
It's a fucking fly in it. I mean, I will do it at some point, but as I said, it's 4 days out of sort of your leave period just to get there and back, sort of thing.
Yeah,
so, sure, you could make it more enjoyable and ride the nicer part of Germany down into the Alps and then go across. If I was to go from me direct through to Spain, absolute shit. So, they did used to do trains, I believe, where you could jump on a train, but I don't think they do that now. From Germany down to the Pyrenees or to Picos.
Well, I've never heard about that. I know they do them down towards, is it Italy? Down to Italy they do them.
Yeah. But they've kind of dwindled away from what I've heard. But I mean, I'd love to do it. And from watching your vids, it's definitely my cup of tea, riding wise when you're there.
Yeah,
so
love it.
I'm sure I'll get there. But as I said, it's when I think 4 days to get there and back, that's 4 days. I mean, I can be in the Alps. Austria, Italy within a day, and then I think, well, I'll just bomb down there, and then, but it never gets boring down there. But I'm sure I will do it at some point. So
just bomb down to Austria and Italy like you do,
I can get there in a day.
I used to love riding in Germany, and I still do when I'm there, but I kind of almost do it through gritted teeth because. When I came down and I met up, but the first time I met up with Andy before I came and met up with you and Gaz, when I met up with Andy, he was telling me about all these roads because when I go myself, I didn't know about any of this, so I just ignored any signs. But he was pointing out the roads where they're telling you you're not allowed motorbikes up these roads, on certain days, certain times and stuff. I wasn't aware of any of that before. But that annoys me. Why is that? Why are they not allowing bikes on?
It's generally, I mean, it can be obviously a lot of the back roads that are the best biking roads to ride, and subsequently some of them end up going through sort of towns and villages. So most of it is probably put down from petitions from the local town that this bike route goes through,
right?
That they've had enough, and you can understand it.
Absolutely.
Some of these biking routes, you're getting hundreds of bikers rattling through there every day, and obviously although the roads or the regulations for exhausts and whatnot are pretty strict here, there's a lot of people that obviously don't abide by that. So
what?
Yeah, and some of these towns, maybe sort of in the middle of nowhere, a lot of older people live there, and they get threaders with the
Yeah,
so
totally
obviously they've put up petitions and whatnot, and eventually bikers then get banned from riding through there. Maybe most of it is on weekends or bank holidays. But to be honest, I've not hit too many routes of that. Sure, one or two, but it's nothing too mental.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a lot of the good biking places or the good biking roads end up going through some sort of village or town, and if they're unlucky, then you can get banned from riding through there on weekends or bank holidays. But you know, there's so many places to ride in Germany. If you do hit one, it's no really biggie that you have to turn around and adjust your route. So
The other thing we hear over here is that the police over in Germany, well, we're hearing it all over Europe that the police are tightening up on biking, but we're hearing in Germany they are particularly tightening up on biking. So
it's true.
Like, it is true, is it? Oh.
And they always have been. It's not happening now. They always have been. And the best example I had must be 7 or 8 years ago. I took the DB killer out of my exhaust on a Honda. What did I have? CBF, I think I had at the time. Took the DB killer out, and I got pulled just a sort of a spot check, and he obviously noticed I didn't have it in there, and he said, "What's happened to your DB killer?" I said, "It's under my seat." He said, "Oh, okay, well, stick that thing back in." I was like, "Okay, I'll stick it back in." Screwed it back in, and blah blah blah. Said, "Yeah, there are obviously penalties for that," and blah blah blah. And I said, "Yeah, what money are you going to get for that?" He said, "Probably be a point and $80." I was like, "Oh shit, that's a bit of a downer, but okay." And I got a letter a few weeks later, and I had to pay €280, and I got 3 points on my license.
Oh my God.
Exhaust is a massive thing here. Noise pollution is a massive thing. And I kind of Googled it, and it's a kind of from and to, but the main thing is because I'd taken out the DB killer and had it with me, I'd intentionally made my vehicle unroadworthy.
Yeah.
If the copper had said to me, if you'd have said I didn't have it with me, I don't know, I bought it like that, or the thing must have flown out or whatever, he said I wouldn't have believed you, but because you have it on you, you get nailed to the wall. So 3 points and $280. But it's not just exhaust. Every aftermarket piece of equipment that you screw onto your bike, you have to have paperwork for. So a screen, brake levers, clutch levers, crash bars, crash sliders, anything, tail tidies, everything you have to have paperwork for. And
Seriously?
if you don't, and if that part that you have on your bike that you can't prove has been made and designed and is road legal and MOT tested for that particular bike, then they can potentially say, today is done. Your bike is staying where it is. It's being impounded. You're getting a fine for whatever misdemeanors or whatever you've got on your bike. So it's really strict.
This
so
is
all this
why
shit that people in UK, DB killers get thrown in the bin, cats get fucking drilled out straight through pipes. And a lot of people say to me, I'm coming over to Germany, I've got a straight through pipe, I've got no cat. I was like, don't do it. Because even if you're a tourist, the worst case scenario, you have to initially abide by the rules of the country that you're visiting. So if you're here with a straight through pipe, no DB killer, no cat, if they say that ain't road legal, the worst case scenario is that they will say to you, that bike is staying where it is, get it on a trailer. I don't care how you do it, but your ride is now done, and you're going to be fined as a tourist, but obviously you're not going to get any points, etc., but you'll get fined and your bike will stay where it is. So that's my advice to people to coming over to Germany. If you've got some mental exhaust system on parts on your bike that are a bit sort of dodgy, be prepared that the police, they're onto it. They're all over it here.
Right, our meet-up in August, screw that. Right, folks, if you're thinking of going to Germany or anywhere else in Europe, forget that. Brittany ferries, straight down to Santander or Bilbao. The Spanish do not care, as long as you don't take the piss in the towns and villages. Head to the mountains and enjoy yourself. Why bother?
But your system on your GS is legal, right, or not?
No, it's not. No, I've got a full system, Akrapovic system, a Kropovic.
But yours
system.
Yours isn't offensively loud, so
it failed. It failed the noise test that. Oh God, where did I was at the Superbike school. I can't remember what circuit it was at, but it failed one of the on-site. It passed the noise test to get on the circuit, but it failed one of the ride-by ones.
Okay.
I think it's like 9. I don't know what it was. I don't know.
On a GS failed the.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. That does annoy me. I understand. I do get. I understand the noise limits, and I totally understand the people in the towns and the villages getting pissed off. And I always advocate take it easy through the towns and villages, because I wouldn't like it. If I lived out in the middle of some beautiful road and I had bikers coming by screaming their nuts off all the time, riding like cocks, it would annoy me. And I'm a biker,
Definitely.
but. That,
as I said, it's not just exhaust. Tinkering with your bike in general, whatever you do to it.
I hate that.
I mean, Germany love their paperwork. They're so efficient. Everything has to be sort of by the book.
Bureaucratic.
So if you do anything to your bike, you have to make sure you're covered.
Yeah, fair enough. Right.
Okay.
Fulcher Mark. That's my mate Fulch. Now he's basically a German. Does he fall into the same trap as being first to the sunbeds when he's on his holiday to put the towel down? Also, do Lederhausen's chaff.
Oh, I've never worn them, so I can't tell you.
Bollocks. Of course you have.
No.
You must have. You've never put a set of Lederhausen on.
No, I've even been to Munich to the Oktoberfest 3 times. But I can't even remember most of the weekends that I was down there. I was in my younger days, but we never wore any of that shit. What was the first part of the question?
Are you first with your towel on the sunbeds when you go on holiday?
No.
Okay, but is your
I'm
wife
worried about that?
Is your wife the proper
But
German?
to be honest, we're both not into holidays where you just go somewhere and lie next to the pool for 2 weeks. We're not into that at all. So we'd rather do something. And
what's your perfect holiday then? Where would you go?
Alps on the bike for sure.
No, but this sounds
without
bad.
The family.
If you had to take the family, what would be your sort of perfect holiday?
We're more into we like the countryside. We like the sort of and we go to Denmark because Denmark is up onto the coast. We rent sort of a holiday home up there, and we take the kids. And it's just basically we've got a dog, and we just basically have walks, and we're just out in the fresh air, and we do stuff together. We're really not into just lying next to pools and
fair enough.
Drinking cocktails, and we'd rather do stuff. And to be honest, I mean, with holidays, it's been over the last, how long have I lived here now? Nearly 5 years. I built this house that I'm in now, and over the last 5 years, we've had to sacrifice holidays to get this build done. And I probably need, I don't know, 1 more year to finish it. So holidays have been sort of, as I said, inland stuff, or we just go up to Denmark or up to the north coast of Germany and just chill out there for a bit. So, but as I said, even if we weren't having house stress builds and whatnot, we'd probably not do so much sunshine stuff. But
right, fair enough. So no on the sunbeds.
That was a no.
Mark _ M1200. Now I think we've pretty much covered this. I think would he change, as in you? Would you change your current 1290 GT for the new one, and would you ever consider changing it for a GS?
Oh God, yeah. I think I saw this question. That's why I sort of hung off this one. I think, as I said before, my bike now will probably go towards the end of the season. And as I said, I think it's either going to be the new GT or the R. I've not sort of decided yet what it's going to be, but to chop it in for a GS, that it's a no. It's adventure bikes is just not my thing. Although, as I said to you before, I've ridden the GS many times, 6 or 7 times, and even the new one. I've been on the new one. It is a fantastic bike without question. But as I said, it's just not. The whole thing just doesn't fit me. The riding position, engine wise, power they've got enough. They've definitely got bags of grunt, but it's just definitely not my thing.
Yeah,
I don't want to be I don't want to say the old cliche that you get a GS when you're all done and dusted and you're old as shit. Yeah, it's definitely not for me, an adventure bike. And if I was to get an adventure bike, then I'd still stay KTM, because it's just that super adventure is bonkers.
Yeah, it's
it's the typical adventure bike. It's the typical stereotype seating position and adventure bike, but it's stupid fast.
It's got that 1290 engine, isn't it? Oof.
Definitely. So if I was to go adventure, then it'd have to be something stupidly powerful. But,
cool.
Yeah.
Roger Wood 99. Looking forward to this one. Will you be trying to get a chat? Oh, sorry, mate. This is for me. Will you be trying to get a chat set up with RJ at all? Royal Jordanian, Roger. I've messaged Royal Jordanian to.
Oh, really?
I have, to test the waters. But funnily enough, he's never replied. So a lot of people are.
How would that work? He'd have to do it with his helmet on.
I know. I said that to him. I said, obviously his anonymity is key for him, so we'd have to work around that, whether he did that with his helmet on. But he's never replied as yet, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I have contacted lots of different people, and most people have never replied because. I am a nobody. You people have maybe heard of me, but most people haven't.
Oh, really?
So, well, it's true, though, isn't it?
Can you say what? Can you tell what people have you asked already?
Who I've
or
contacted?
That you've had knockbacks, or not non-replied.
Itchy Boots. Loads of people said, "Could you get in touch with Itchy Boots?" Dropped her a message, never had a reply. But
she's just been on with TMF, right?
She has, yeah. I mean, he did try and test the waters, but she'd never heard of me. So, she'd never replied. So, who else have I dropped messages? I've dropped messages to loads of people recently, but it's only in the last couple of weeks that I've sent messages out. So maybe they will reply, maybe they won't. Who knows? I'd love to have a chat with Norley, but she's done that now. She's had a big chat with TMF there. So
yeah, sure.
If Norley, if you do watch
44
this,
Teeth, and that was awesome.
That was good. I'll get them back on again because we had a good laugh there, and I think they were.
I love them guys. Absolutely fantastic.
Believe it or not, they were a bit reserved from what they could be. So I think maybe next time.
I can imagine, because they are mental.
Next time it might be full throttle. Motorbike tourer. What bike would Shaun lust over and why? Well, we covered that, didn't we? V4 Street Fighter.
Oh, Motorbike tourer. He's a hardened subscriber.
Yes, yeah. It's funny, isn't it, when you see the different people's names cropping up, because you're like, oh, blimey, you've been here for years.
Well, he rides the Super Adventure in grey and black, and it looks fantastic. And he's got an Arrow can on it. Absolutely stunning bike. And and he's a long-term subscriber. And he does a lot, or he comments a lot on 44 Teeth. Is a channel that you see a lot of. Seems a great guy. So it's another guy that I'd probably really like to meet up with.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because he said his previous question, why did he copy the look of my bike? To you. Yeah,
he's referring to the new graphics that and it does look amazing. Although I did like the orange and white graphics that I had on the bike. Back in touch with the company from MotorPro Works, and I was thinking, and it was a nightmare to get off. I mean, I got all the graphics off with a heat gun, but all of the glue, not just a little bit. You get a corner when you peel off a label or something. All of the glue stayed on the bike. So basically, the whole bike was covered in thick glue, and I had to get it off with like some sort of glue remover. But it turned into some sort of sticky mess in here, and it took me about 4 hours just to get the glue off. So I said to him, I'm all up for it, but I said, these are staying on. I said, I ain't taking another set off. So, but I'm really chuffed that the new graphics are on. It's in a black and grey now, and
I've seen it. I watched it. It looks really
good.
It
awesome.
I love the orange, because the orange was proper in your face hooligan, wasn't it?
It was a bit out there. But I liked it.
Yeah, I did, and it looked awesome. And your photography's just, you've taken that to a new level, man. It's amazing on your Instagram. It just looks the nuts.
Yeah,
and when you
it's
said
another thing. There's another thing I like doing. Photography is another good hobby.
Well, you can see you're really good at it. But when you said you were changing, you had the new decals, and then when I saw them, I was like, oh, it's quite reserved because it's like two-tone grey, isn't it? And I was like, oh,
yeah.
is that going to be a bit too boring on the bike? But my God, it looks nuts.
It looks mean. It looks
doesn't
mean. It looks awesome, and it's in matte. The other graphics were glossy, but this is a matte black and grey, and it looks fantastic.
Man, I think it looks even better. I think it looks amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Oh, False Neutral 1, he asked the same question, I think, as on Facebook. How does a 17-year-old
He's a regular commenter. That rings a bell.
False Neutral, he's the chap over in Czechoslovakia, isn't he? Is that False Neutral?
I don't know. Definitely.
I do apologise if it's not you.
I don't know where he's from. Maybe I had Switzerland in my head, but it's possible that he's in.
I think, or is it Slovenia? There's a chap. I think it's False Neutral. There's a chap from over that neck of the woods who's trying to set up a tour company, and he's been chatting away with me quite a bit. And hopefully, if all this stuff sorts out, I'll go over there and meet up with him and ride some of his roads and stuff. I think that was False Neutral.
Okay.
Adam Rose 3133. This is to you. How do you find the time to ride, build a YouTube channel, and get away on longer rides, work, and have 4 kids? So how do you find the time for everything?
It's like with anything. I think if you're passionate about something, then you find the time. But definitely the love of a good woman helps no end.
Yeah.
If your partner's not into it and isn't prepared for you to be away, then it does. With all the posts that we do, videos, photos, Instagram posts, it does seem like that we're out every day sort of thing, but it's really not. I go for rides. At the moment it's obviously limited, but I'm not out every weekend. It's finding that even balance, and as long as you're keeping her indoors happy and you do stuff with your children and all that, it's finding that balance. And I had to open my wallet a lot of times to keep the missus. I had to build her a house. So
sorry to interrupt. My counter seems to have stuck on my GoPro again.
Oh, I'm still going.
Are you still going? Can I just reset this just in case?
Yeah, do.
Right, sorry about that,
continue with
folks.
the question? No?
Yeah, I'll just let people know in case you don't know what happened there. There's a counter on the GoPros. There's a counter thing that obviously goes up every second, and when it gets really hot, sometimes that counter halts. So there it had stopped at like 1 hour and 6 seconds, and I wasn't sure if it was still recording or not. So you don't want to carry on and it not be recording. As it turns out, it was. So we'll get back
now
to
that you've said that, mine is now froze on 1 hour and 18 and it's not going up, but it's still flashing red. So should be recording.
Should be recording.
Yeah,
do you want to stop and start it?
No, it's going up. It's going up every minute, not second now. Every minute it goes up.
Oh, I wonder if that's what it is then. Once it gets to a certain... No, mine's going up seconds now. Yeah.
It just turned up to 1 hour and 19, so it's gone up to every... I think when you go over an hour, it then clocks every minute.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That does make sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, at least we got to both have it. We got to have a piss.
Yeah, we did. Cheers. We had a quick pee break. Slangs.
Yeah, so to continue that question, I think it's finding that sort of balance of family time and riding time. I mean, I've got 4 kids. It sounds a lot, but my oldest 2 are 14 and 16, so they sort of come and go as they please. So it's only sort of the younger 2, my 2 daughters that are 4 and 8. It's just finding that balance. And to be honest, my missus is happy with me, pursuing my hobby and
getting
passion.
Out our hair.
I mean, I've been married before. I've been married twice. My ex-wife didn't like bikes at all, so she had to go.
Absolutely.
No, I'm just joking. No, I mean,
because of the military life that I had, I was very young when I married the first time, and we were married for 7 years. But the military way of life is difficult for people to understand, especially it's a single man's job, in my opinion. If you're married and you've got kids, you're away a lot of the time. I did tours of Iraq and Afghanistan, and even when you're at home, you're away on exercise, preparing for your next sort of time away. And with the military, most of them are blokes. There's a lot of socialising, a lot of drink. So when you are home, you kind of off your tits most of the time. It's definitely a hard life for a married sort of couple. So that didn't go to plan, but still, we're still here.
I think the nature of your job in the military as well. It's on a very minor comparison. I'm not saying it's in any way the same, but in the emergency services, you. As with you guys, although with you guys it's way more extreme in times of conflict, but you deal with things that normal people don't deal with, and for people not in that world to not appreciate, but just sort of sympathise, the right word, for people to understand the mentality and the humour and the lifestyle that is adopted to accommodate that sort of working environment.
And I'm glad you said that. It's how you deal with it that's I don't know, a lot of people think it's kind of sick, but I mean, dealing with trauma and stress, in the military, everything everybody takes the piss out of everybody or any situation. It's finding the comedy value in the most inappropriate sort of situation and things is how you deal with that. I mean, in the military, I mean, we abused each other no end, but it's in the military. I mean, sure, it's the same in the police. It's kind of like a sign of affection that you like somebody by absolutely abusing that person and taking the piss out of the most inappropriate things. But that's how you deal with
absolutely
how you deal with the. Otherwise, you'll just go mental.
Yeah. And it was sort of said to you in the old bill. It said to you right at the get go, as soon as you join your nick and you're on your team, people are taking the piss, and there was this big thing about you weren't allowed to take the piss anymore because it's bullying, and bullying's never acceptable. You're like, it's not bullying. It's if people are not taking the piss out of you, if they're not taking the piss out of you to your face, that means they don't like you. If they are ripping 7 shades out of you to your face,
it's a sign of affection.
Generally, I mean, you might just be a twat, but generally, generally it is though, isn't it? I always used to say to people, I was like, look, if you've not been given a nickname, if people are not taking the mick, then that's the time to worry, because
absolutely,
generally, in the days of old, I'm very sad to say, in the old bill, with the new breed, and I'm sure the military's the same, but with the new breed that are coming in, it changed, and part of the reason I left, it's not the environment I knew, not the environment I like to be in anymore. So.
Absolutely, it became, I don't know, in my opinion, it became a bit sort of Larry-Farry, a bit soft. It wasn't the military that I joined, which was pretty tough, and that's what makes the British Army, without sort of sounding cliche, it's probably one of the best militaries in the world, because it's hard, but. Over the years, and especially the time when I left, it became different. Politics, health and safety came in, and all kinds of stuff. And it was then time to jump ship. But it is what it is.
Who knows who's right? Who knows who's wrong? Mate, to be honest, maybe we are dinosaurs. Who knows? But
oh God,
yeah. Anyway,
next year when I turn 40, can you be classed as a dinosaur at 40?
God no, mate. You're only just becoming an adult at 40. Your brain is
life has just begun.
Well, it is. You're only just
there's still a good 30 years of riding left in me, right?
You're only just sorting your shit out in your 40s, and even I'm starting again now, but I've never been happier. I've got to say. Right, what's 1984? Where did the name Likeable Rider come from, and are you still planning to do some UK meetups when able to?
There you go. It comes on to the name of the channel, and I don't like it. It sounds really arrogant. It sounds like I like myself or something.
I don't like it.
Yeah, but it's the same with everybody when you start up your new YouTube channel. You don't expect it to go anyway. I mean, I used YouTube as a hard drive basically. I was filming my trips away and uploading them to YouTube unedited, just so I could look back on them, later on in life, and and have a look where I was rolling around. And then all of a sudden, you're uploading motorbike videos to YouTube, and you get these suggested videos. And the first people I was watching was Baron von Grumble. Leadpin, have you ever heard of Leadpin? He doesn't do anything anymore. He's from Australia. Adrian Nickelodeon I watched. He's an Australian guy. He doesn't really do much either. But back then, when you make your YouTube channel, you think, you're typing it in and you're registering on YouTube, and you have to give it a name, and you think, oh shit. I mean, I started with Shaun Tiger 1050, and that comes up as Twitter because I've changed my YouTube name once before, from that to the Likeable Rider, but it doesn't change on all of your platforms. So on Twitter, it's still Shaun Tiger 1050, but that was just basically my name, and I was riding at the time a Tiger 1050. So I was thinking, this is shit, and things are happening on YouTube, and it was growing slightly, and I thought I'm gonna have to change this name. I couldn't come up with anything. I was thinking something Rider would be nice. So I said to my family and friends, I said, we'll just chuck some names into a hat. Chuck some names in, or a descriptive word for me, what you think, describes my character or whatever. And I'm kind of happy the Likable came out, because it could have turned out really bad.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought, I can't come up with a sort of an half-decent original name. I thought I'll just throw it into an hat, and whatever I pull out, that'll be it. And then I pulled out and it said Likable on there, so I thought, okay, Likeable Rider, and there you go. But I think it's a really shit name. I don't know. I mean, I know John Lambchops was saying he wasn't that great. He wasn't that particularly happy with his name. Yours is pretty cool, I think. Yours has got a story behind it, at least. Yeah, yours has got a story behind it, at least.
Do you know
but mine's shit.
I was going to change mine just to my name, Bruce Smart.
Yeah.
You got Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, all that sort of stuff. I was going to change it, and then a friend of mine who used to be pretty high up in like a blue chip company, he said to me, look, why are you doing that? He said, because you've got a brand. He said, Teapot is your brand. So he said, don't change that. Don't leave it. And I thought, I suppose you're right, really, aren't you? But I don't think I know anyone that's happy with their sort of channel name amongst our little community.
No.
Yeah,
but it does come down to when you first start, you never expect that things are going to sort of get to where they are now. I mean, my channel's pittance compared to a lot of the legends that you've had on your podcast. But you never, you just register on YouTube and you just throw some sort of half-witted sort of channel name in there. And then later on as things grow and progress and things become a bit more successful, you think, I think it sounds really arrogant, my channel name. But I've had some comments, on videos that I've done. I may have said the F word a few times. There's not much likable about you and whatnot. And I think, crap. But yeah, that's how it came about. But what was the second part to the question? First was the channel name.
You still planning to do some UK meetups when you're able?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this year's obviously gone to pot, and it's been sort of cancelled. And this year, probably nothing's going to happen with the UK trip. But I think I'll then, push that off into next year, providing everything's cool. Then I like to come to UK. As I said, my folks, I came from down south, and my folks retired up to Scotland 2 years ago. So the plan was to come over to UK and do sort of the NC 500 and meet up do some meetups in and around Scotland, and then ride down south, Lake District, down into Wales, and then down south to UK, and then bugger off back to Germany from sort of Dover, Calais. So yeah, that is definitely on the card. So I think next year, I'll just put it off a year and then plan it for next year. And so many people, to be honest, I know I'd fired it out on social media. So many people in Scotland and other places messaged me and said, and that's another thing that I just love about doing this. So many people messaged me and said, I've got an ensuite spare bedroom. Yeah. If you come, I'd love to meet you. You can stay in my house and free of charge. You can, even if it's just an overnight, we'd love to meet you, and then you can carry on your trip. And maybe 3 or 4 people messaged me and said, in and around UK, people that you've never even met. Obviously they watch your videos and they can pick up on your character and what you sort of like. But I think that's amazing. You know, and obviously it saves you hassle and cost, but it's absolutely brilliant that people reach out and say, come and stay at my house, and to some perfect stranger, and I'll invite you into my house and we can have dinner, we can have some drinks, and you can stay in my gaff. It's
just have a little drink of that special drink, and then pop this ball gag on, and I'll just set the camera up.
Yeah.
Yeah. On it. Draw a discreet veil over that one.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think I've answered that right.
Yeah, definitely. Andy Bowen. If Shaun had only one day left, what road would you ride, and what would you have for your last meal?
Oh, magic. It would have to be the Silvretta in Austria. Have you ridden it?
No. Where's that? Austria, obviously, but whereabouts?
It's East Austria.
Okay.
So down through Germany into Austria, there's a Silvretta pass. Oh dear.
What?
Reconnecting. Oh, we'll just wait. Oh, are you back? Are you there?
I'm here. Yeah. Oh, is it your phone? I thought you meant your GoPro.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. No problem.
No, my phone said it was reconnecting.
Oh, no, I can hear you and see you. No bother.
Okay. Yeah, East Germany, the Silvretta Pass, you'll have to Google it. Absolutely amazing. I mean, you have to pay. I think it was over €20 to ride it.
Right.
But it's really long, really technical. Not too. There's a lot of hairpin passes or hairpin bends.
Right.
And at the top, there's a beautiful sort of ice sort of lake at the top with a biker cafe and whatnot at the top.
Oh my God,
Absolutely
I'm looking
amazing.
at it now.
It's probably one of the best passes up there with. I mean, I've ridden so many. I've been in the Alps in Austria, Italy, Switzerland, France. I've done pretty much in it. Well, I think it's never ending, but you can never do it all. But that is probably one of the most spectacular from sort of views wise and for riding. Absolutely amazing. And I've done a couple of videos on that pass. They're on my channel if you want to check them out. But
it's Western Austria. Western Austria, right near the border with Switzerland.
Did I say east?
You did,
I meant west.
That looks amazing, man. The Google pictures of it.
It's fantastic.
Wow. And the second part
I've not Googled it myself.
What's that?
Silvretta. I've not Googled it myself. Silvretta Pass.
And the second part was, I think it was the meal.
Austria.
Yeah, what would you have for your last meal?
Oh dear. Well, that's a toughie. What would I have for my last meal? I think probably fish and chips, but that's probably because I don't have it. I probably have it once a year,
Right.
which is terrible. Anytime I go to the UK, first thing I get when I go to the UK is I smash a full English and fish and chips.
I'm like,
I think the Silvretta Pass in Austria and with a fish and chips at the end of it.
Nice.
Gosh.
I'm a bit like that when I go to Scotland because I want a deep fried Mars bar supper. Deep fried, not Mars bar. Deep fried haggis supper. So it's a haggis. It's like you get sausage and batter.
Dirty bastard.
Well, this is like a haggis, deep fried in batter with chips. Oh.
I've never in my life eaten haggis.
What?
I'm sure it's nice. I'm sure there's many different variants of it. My parents, last year I went to Scotland to meet my parents, and my dad had it on some haggis sprinkled over sort of nachos.
Oh yeah.
And it looked fucking awful. It looked like
amazing.
some sort of dog's dinner.
Never.
But yeah, he loves it.
Never.
I've never eaten it, so
Never ever Google or watch how haggis is made, but taste it. It's beautiful.
Oh no,
it's amazing.
No, you don't. I'm sure it does say great, but I don't know. The idea of it kind of puts me off a bit. I'm sure it does taste good in some sort of shape or form, but I don't know. I'm reluctant to try it.
Yeah, gotta be haggis. I am _mono. Room for 2 more bikes in the garage. A classic and a modern. Which 2 bikes?
I think for me, I'd have an R9T.
Would you? Okay.
Oh, that's kind of that's still modern though, right?
Oh yeah, that's not a classic. No.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking retro. I think okay. Classic. What would I have for a classic? Probably a Roy Enfield or something, maybe.
Would you?
Yeah.
Why do you not want to ride it?
Something with. Yeah.
You just
But
want-
just something with now on it. I mean, I'm a bit of a tart for the modern bike and all the technology, but I really love retro bikes as well. And I've been on the R9T and the Scrambler and the Thruxton, and although there is some modern sort of electronics on them, it's amazing just to ride a bike with not a lot on it, you know. Yeah, maybe a Roy Enfield as a classic, and a modern bike. I'd probably have to go back to the Street Fighter. That has to make an appearance.
Yeah.
I
I totally
probably go for them too.
I'd agree with you for the V4 Street Fighter. I've not even ridden the thing. But hopefully, I will as soon as lockdown's lifted.
Yeah.
But just looking at it, that is the bike. That is my poster bike at the moment.
It's awesome looking.
Classic wise, do you know what? Since I test rode the Harley, I've started to really look at them, and my mate Mike Noble does custom Harleys, and he's got some.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got some original sort of I don't know when they're from, 40s, 50s style chops. You know, where he's totally custom built them himself, and there's something about those customized Harley chopper type bikes, you know, with the suicide shift and everything on it. There's something about them. I don't know what it is, because they must be an utter pig to ride, but something about them do it for me now, and they never used to, but now they do. Yeah.
It comes down to it again. Like I said, I'd rather ride a bike that's a bit of a handful than something that's just completely amazing and refined and brilliant.
Yeah.
Something that just rattles your brains and just is an absolute nightmare to ride. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we have gone through the teapot, the Instagram questions. Did we have any on? Do we have any on Twitter?
We did Facebook.
Yeah, we've done Facebook. Hang on. There we go. There's Twitter. What questions have we got here? We've only got one from Peter McQueenie, and it's not even a question. He'll unwrap a new microphone for a review. Peter McQueenie.
Unwrap a new microphone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to do a
Sounds
review
like Peter
on
McKinnon.
Yeah, that's probably what he's thinking.
If it was Peter McKinnon, I'd have been interested.
I think we've done the questions, man. I do apologise because, like I said, I normally post stuff on my Patreon. Sorry to mention it. Who I've got, and I forgot this week.
Yeah, we've still managed.
We still battered
over
out
2 hours. So.
2 hours.
Yeah,
2.5 hours.
definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, man.
We're good.
Well, I've enjoyed that. That's been a good giggle.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. Thanks for having me along, and thanks for considering me. To be honest,
don't be daft.
my sort of channels
Mate,
is pretty small in comparison.
Bollocks, utter bollocks. You've got a cracking channel, mate, and you've got a lovely way about you. It's you are a likable rider, you know. I've got to admit, I'd watched some of your vids and then met up with you in Germany, and you're a top fella. You really are a top fella. You're one of these people who is exactly the same in real life as you are on the camera, and you know.
Oh, magic.
That to me is.
Although I do tend to get a bit wooden when I'm stood in front of the camera. I'd rather be behind it, to be honest. When I'm doing sort of reviews and whatnot, and I'm stood in front of it.
Do you?
I mean, some of my older stuff that I've watched, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, how did I even publish that? Yeah, but it's getting there. It's getting there. And to be honest, things are coming, and I've actually got. I was meaning to tell you, I've got Cardo on board. So if you do manage to get over in August, I should have a pack talk by then, so we should be able to have a bit of ease with communication, because we had a nightmare last time.
We did, and a little bit of an exclusive. I also have Cardo on board now, so I could maybe bring you one if you have it. But right, I think we're both sorted for Cardo, so that's fantastic. We'll do.
Magic.
We could do. I just did a motocast with Mr. Fish, so we did this, but
I saw that one.
But out on the bikes. So when we come to Germany, well, I think we just call it a vlog, don't we? It's just a moto vlog for
Definitely.
us. But I've now started calling it a motocast. So we'll do something similar when I get over and come and see you. All right? And if you're coming back over to the UK, let me know, mate, and we'll meet up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I'll be there next year. As I said, it'll just get pushed off to next year, and then hopefully I can get over.
Awesome. Cool. Well, folks, if you have not checked out Shaun's channel, so Likeable Rider on YouTube, Likeable Rider across social media, Instagram it is, and then on Twitter you are Shaun Tiger 1050. Is that right?
Yeah, it might even come up if you put it in there. As I said,
I think it
that's
does.
the only platform that it's not changed on that I changed my
I'll
name.
put all
Facebook and
Shaun's
Instagram. I'm on
cool. I'll put all Shaun's links in the description for the podcast and in the video description down below. So make sure you check them out. Give him a follow. Give him a subscription. Do whatever you need to do to follow.
Some of that.
And check out his vids. Shaun, top man. Really enjoyed it, mate. You look after yourself. I'm glad things are easing up over there.
Thanks for having me along, Bruce.
Yeah, no
Magic.
problem.
Absolutely
Anytime. And I look forward to coming over and seeing you. Awesome.
Yeah, hopefully that works out.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get it this year at some point. Right, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this week's podcast. Remember to keep sharing the love. Get on out there. Shout now. I'll edit this bit because I just guffed that up. First time I've guffed it up. Pissed. Remember to keep telling everyone you know about the podcast. Shout loud and clear all about it. Brewtime Teapot One podcast. Thank you very much to everybody that's been leaving the reviews on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Obviously 5 stars. Thank you very much, people. I really appreciate it. Right then, till next week, look after yourselves, look after those that you love, but most importantly, get on out there, folks, and do whatever you can to live your life. Woo-ha!